Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Darkest Hour. Tonight is episode 67 with special guest SodaPoppin, an old school Twitch streamer that I'm sure many of you know. Let's say hi to the boys. What up, dudes? What's going on?
That was a sick intro.
It's not bad, right?
Biblical. That was pretty cool. How much did it cost?
Dude, a viewer hooked it up. A viewer hooked it up for free, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty awesome.
Damn.
Pretty cool. And that was like episode 5. It was like pretty early on.
Yeah, it was very early.
Yeah.
This is the I look at your title, 67.
I know. We're dorks.
Yep. Wow, you guys are losers.
We're fucking dad. We're fucking dad dorks. But yeah, it was Skelly Bowman, by the way, and he also rated. So thanks, Skelly. But he did make the intro. He's a great guy. But yeah, we're fucking dad dorks. We've been doing this shit for a while now. And it's actually funny. Spud Hunter here is our newest co-host. We had another co-host, Donnie, and he was the casual player. And he got over the game. He's like, fuck this game of podcast. You're my friend, but I'm out. So we bounced out. So now we have Spud. Yeah, that's the story. Isn't that beautiful?
The intro. I'm the walk-in.
Yeah, he's the walk-in.
Nice to meet you, Spud.
I was first on the pile.
I didn't get to say, nice to meet you, Spud. I met the other two. I've seen you guys, played with you, saw you at the expo, Soma. But your videos are sick, Spud. I watch a lot of them.
Cheers,
pretty much, I love listening to your complaints because they're always right.
Oh, wow.
Do not tell him that too much.
You know what? I needed someone to agree with today, and this is good. So I love that. It's a good morning routine for me.
Nice.
All right, that's the opening for my next argument video.
Jay, Spud, good to see you boys as usual. Thanks for joining, guys. Soda, thank you so much for jumping on the podcast tonight, sir. We appreciate it.
Of course.
It's cool to see really large streamers play little indie games, and I work on I work on Dark and Darker now. I'm actually the head of marketing at Iron Mace now, which is kind of crazy.
Damn. So what does that job entail? Tell me how your day goes.
Just this podcast. Yeah, just once a week I just do this podcast.
Okay.
No. I'm working on several things right now, like Twitch drops, another charity thing. A couple of other things I can't really talk about. I helped build out the trailer and the teaser for Summer Game Fest and OTK Expo, which is the last time I saw you. But you and I go way back. You remember I used to work at Twitch, and I remember when you were such a tiny little streamer many moons ago.
Yeah.
You were actually never that small as a streamer, but I do remember the old days. And you've been around Twitch for a long ass time. So I was hoping if you wouldn't mind, for the small amount of people out there that don't know who you are, the folks on YouTube that don't know you, if you could give us a little rundown of your streaming history, how you discovered Twitch, what did you do before Twitch, and how'd you find Dark and Darker?
Okay, before Twitch, I went to school. It's crazy. I was 15, and then, I might have been 14. I streamed on Xfire, which was some shitty-ass website.
You streamed on Xfire?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The only way I got views, do you know what Arena Junkies is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Arena Junkies had you could only get posted there if you were high enough rated. You couldn't talk unless you had Glad titles and stuff. And I was high enough rated I could link my stream on this website tab, and a lot of people would click it, and I would always say, #1 stream, come at me, bro. Because that was the memes back then. That's how people thought it was cool to talk. And then eventually Twitch was better, obviously, or Twitch Justin TV yada yada came out. I streamed a lot of World of Warcraft, so I was a big fantasy nerd, and that went on for like 15 years with weird turns left and right, but eventually ended up Dark and Darker. I've been playing a lot of more than other games. Definitely. I think I've had Dark and Darker almost every day for the past month now. My viewers hate it at this point. Variety viewers, and they're like, "Do something else, finally, please."
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had fantasy is my thing. So to have an extraction game, very fantasy based, with a cool skill ceiling, and I love loot. I fucking love loot. I hate losing it. That's my one gripe. But God, it feels good to get it. And so, no, I'm just happy to be here for this podcast now, talking about it, getting to just talk directly to people who work directly with the game and shit and complain. And maybe the devs can actually hear my complaints rather than me yell at the wall. It's great.
You've been muted this whole time, by the way. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm kidding. No, that's awesome.
I thought you were serious. I was like, wait, really?
I'm joking.
I thought I nailed that. I was like, I can't do it again.
I know.
I saw his reaction to that, and it was like the slow zoom with the violins, like the horror music.
No, you did nail it. You nailed it. That was beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, even
so
segued back in Dark and Darker, because that's what we're here for, right?
you crushed it. Well done. Yeah. So you obviously were a World of Warcraft main for a long time. Druid is the go-to class, right?
I was so fucking pumped when like I heard Druid was
I know.
announced.
Yeah.
Then I started playing it. God damn it.
What? Well, hold on a second. Druid's fucking amazing. What the fuck are you talking about? You don't like it?
I hate that I feel like I have to pick. Do I want to beat casters and people that kite, or do I want to beat high PDR? And I cannot do anything versus the other based on what I pick. That's how it feels. Fix it. I'm already listen. I'm jumping out of the woodworks.
Okay. Jay,
That's with
Spuddy. I mean, you guys both
yeah.
you guys both play Druid. What do you guys think about that kind of statement?
What, like not being able to kind of do it all?
Because I feel like really, really top tier Druids can kind of fuck with anyone they want.
You're probably right. It might be a skill issue, but I'm still going to complain about it. Absolutely.
Which is your right.
So let's say I messaged you about this. So what the fuck do I do versus a PDR'd out of his mind cleric? This is before the cleric nerfs, to be fair. If I'm playing Panther Druid, even a PDR fight, what do I do? How do I even kill this thing? How do I even hurt it?
And what did I say?
You don't.
You don't.
You don't. You don't. You can't. You
don't.
can't even. It's not even like let me just get lucky. Maybe some cool shit. Like, no, you just don't win. You can't hurt it. So that's my fucking gripe with Druid. I fucking love the class. I'll play it anyways. And then I play Bear. Now I'm beating all these melees, but then I get dotted. What am I gonna walk like a turtle form? By the way, I'm already a turtle.
Yep.
Walking slower than molasses, trying to chase this speed demon flash fuck. It's just curtains. So anyways, that's my gripe. But I love Druid. It's great. Love the shape shifting. Y'all have done a great job.
Okay. So you brought up turtle. They've the devs have talked about a turtle form is coming. How much fucking slower can the Druid get from bear form to? Is this going to be a giant tortoise? Is this like a little sea turtle? What are we talking about here?
Well, hold on. What if it's like 90% PDR and MDR, but you got like 100 move speed? That could be interesting.
What is it? Okay,
cool.
Do we know what the plan is for turtle form?
No.
Okay, so Soma, you know, but you can't say. Is that it?
I can't. I mean, you know.
It's a turtle.
I thought this was a meme that was going around. I heard about the turtle.
The devs talked about it,
and now they're doing it.
They said it on the podcast.
Wait, we're not even.
Turtle,
hold on, we're not even.
They've talked about
is
penguin
turtle
form. They've talked about a bunch.
Not confirmed.
They've confirmed a bunch
heard
of
from
stuff.
Viewers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it is.
So, someone just tell us what the fuck it's gonna be. Is it gonna be like this walking block that can't attack? Is it a snapping turtle? Just like chicken form, can't actually hit anything but does do damage. What is it?
I can't say shit, brother. I wish I could.
Is it,
I would love to watch you guys theory craft all day long, though.
Is it a glorified Pavis?
I already thought of one. Like how people like stack strength or whatever. A high PDR build on Druid, and every time you get into a fight with insta transform the perk, you're just constantly going, all right, turtle, and then there's like 3 dudes skewering you, nothing happening because they're doing like 10 damage.
That could be crazy.
Back to whatever, slap, back to turtle, slap, back to turtle.
I kind of like that idea.
People are going to complain about because it'd be so toxic.
Or what if your turtle shell is like that one legendary artifact shield that reflects shit? So when they throw a fireball and you iframe turtle and then ping, it bounces off and then you go back. It'd be super busted. I would love it.
It's a great idea. Wow. Nice, dude. That's a great idea. Before Druid came out, you were playing Cleric. Why did you decide to play Cleric when there was other classes to play? What was it about Cleric that called you?
I am a firm believer that a lot of people, like surface level gamers, find the healer support role to be this is where you put your worst player. I'm a firm believer that at the highest level, Cleric can be the biggest carry. And I loved playing it because of that. And because my girlfriend wanted me to heal her. So I did.
The truth comes out. Okay. Truth comes out. Okay.
But I love the healing in this game is it's shooting. I gotta ask this: have y'all been fucking with the code on like the way hit scan heals work?
What do you mean?
Like, I feel like I take a break and I come back and I'm like, something's wrong because I keep missing my heals. But I'm like, is it really just me, or are y'all changing the hit scan a little bit?
When it comes to like really deep in the woods stuff like that, I honestly have no idea. I'm not a coder, like a dev. I do marketing shit, brother. I don't know.
Yeah, but
if they're tweaking with stuff, they all speak Korean.
Who the fuck do you talk to then?
There's 3 people at the company that I can actually talk to. I'm not kidding. The 95% of the company is outside of Seoul, and they're Korean people. And a few people speak English, and I talk to them. Beyond that, I have Microsoft Teams Translate, which gets it right sometimes. But when it comes to like dev jargon and like fantasy-based words and shit, Microsoft Translate's fucking it up. They're like, what the hell are these people talking about? I cannot translate nipple on or whatever the fuck we're talking about, right? So it gets a little messy. Yeah, it gets a little messy.
Damn.
Yeah. The great language barrier. Yeah. Yeah, so it's interesting.
It's just been laggy this way.
Or it could be the servers. Yeah, it could be the servers.
Yeah.
I mean, or it could literally just be me sucking and I'm missing my heals and I'm coping, right?
You're actually
probably
pretty
it.
good though. I've watched your streams when you're playing Dad.
Dude,
I watched the cleric streams. You're not bad, dude. You're pretty good.
I love playing the healer cleric. I'm not a fan of the Ooga Booga. I don't even take spells. I just run at people and I'm immune to death cleric. That made me shy away from. I hated that with a passion. But I do like hey, I play the healer and my goal is to, 1, don't let them get on me. It's hard to survive when in a big fight. I love that. And just getting in those heals, it feels really good to heal. That's why I play cleric. So back to why you asked. And then of course, if you get the pre-buffs going, you can do some cool shit too. You can fucking smack some ass. But yeah,
all right.
it's the whole the cleric meta of Ooga Booga has got to go. Not a fan.
It's
Is it
way
still
it's way
good,
too
Jay?
strong.
Yes, it's still meta.
It's too strong.
90% double cleric, bard teams, and high roller. And the
Okay,
rest
so
are rogues.
Soma, what are we gonna do about this? All right, the time's ticking. I'm telling you.
Let's just say that it's not necessarily unknown that cleric is a little strong, just a little overtuned right now. I feel like the devs know, the real devs.
I just think it's
in Korea.
I think it's weird that the support is a better tank than the tank class and the second tank class.
Yes.
I feel like it's just a weird dynamic.
But even in like, I mean, do you play actual Dungeons and Dragons, Soda? Are you a tabletop nerd at all?
Yeah. I did do one campaign that fell apart, but then I played Baldur's Gate. So I mean, I understand Dungeons and Dragons. I get the mechanics and stuff.
Yeah. So then clerics even in D&D, they're pretty tanky. They rock shields and plate armor and shit. So it's not super surprising that they can tank. But yes, they're overtuned.
They shouldn't be able to out frontline.
I agree.
And do more damage and be like, what does a fighter have over them at that point?
No, you're absolutely right. So like a cleric at most is going to get like 1 weapon swing, right? And then like maybe a heal off. Whereas a fighter's, supposed to be tanky and chop shit up and get up there.
Well,
you're
speaking
right.
of Dungeons and Dragons, because Vicky and I were talking about it, we're like, if this is how what clerics can do, what the fuck are paladins going to do if y'all ever add those? Because those are dark and darker, or Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
A lot of these problems stem from them increasing the base speed. A lot of the classes, like cleric, they didn't account for his PDR. You know what I mean? Like once they brought that up, because cleric sucked in solos for so long because of how slow and clunky it was.
Yeah.
But as soon as he had like his baseline brought up, just that little bit, all of a sudden he became the T-1000 from Terminator. Yeah. So every single, I say this every time now, when there's like balance discussions, it comes down to 2 things, at least from my perspective: burst damage and burst speed. And it's keeping those in line. So cleric has a nice, good baseline where he's not the fastest, but he's pretty fast now with crazy PDR. But then he has a couple buttons that just go random shit, fuck you, in the space of like 2 seconds, whether it's smite or Mika Vista Ballista. You know what I mean?
What is the best cleric? Because you can either do, there's like 5 different variations of Ooga Booga cleric with a little less Ooga Booga than others. Like you can do spell cleric and take judgment, right? Is that good with holy strikes?
Maybe
or is
solos,
that just
yeah.
Is that not Ooga
Solos
Booga
is
enough?
good.
Is it just judgment PDR? Is it judgment smite PDR?
The common ones you play like caster cleric with judgment and solos. You just stack magic damage and stuff. Holy
So you
strike.
just start zapping people. That doesn't. And is that like the meta? Is that the best?
For solos, I'm not sure. Maybe. There's
What's
a guy
the
Yutos,
trio
that's like
meta?
all he does there.
What's trio meta for cleric?
Tank cleric
Yeah.
with another tank cleric, and then ideally you both have spells.
Right.
Double res, double sank, blah blah blah.
Then what do you run without a bard?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Because the
Yeah, you
bard
have
just
to.
makes the cleric fast as fuck. That's what bard does. You know, makes you tankier, makes you stronger, makes you fast.
That
All right,
and Shriek
so-
of Weakness, I feel like is just so fucking important to so many situations. Like you almost gotta have Shriek of Weakness.
How much armor does it chip
Sure.
away? 10?
Minus 50, I think, and then you lose 5% fizz power.
Whenever I run my Barbarian build, like in my full kit, I'm hitting for, almost 300 damage a headshot with Shriek of
it's
Weakness
30.
on Shriek of Weakness on something to the head with the right click. It's like close to 300 damage. Without it, it's like 180. Like the increase in
Yeah.
damage just to a headshot with one double axe swing to the head with Shriek of Weakness
Are you
is
talking about
incredible.
the dummy
Yeah, I am talking about the dummy, but still,
Well,
that's indicative of other things in the game as
Yeah.
well. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
fucking strong. Like it can
So-
trivialize a boss fight.
What if we just took the 50 and changed it to 25?
though? It's 30. My bad.
Take it
Okay,
down to
so
20.
let's
Take that
Take it
to
down to 20.
It's honestly Shriek's not like that crazy.
Really? You
You're
don't think
losing
so?
Maybe like you're probably losing somewhere. What? Probably like maybe 5% PDR at most. It's
Alright,
really not
well-
the Shriek. It's the 25 other buffs that they give.
Okay, you
That's
can
why
snap
bards
your
do good.
fingers. What would you change to make it better or more balanced?
Are you talking about cleric or bard?
I'm talking about Bard. Bard first. Jeez, let's start step one.
Man, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know how they fixed Bard. Bard's like, it's honest. I don't think Bard's like crazy. It's just they're kind of like the Warlock situation where they just have everything. You know what I mean? They can do it all. Like they have range, they have speed, they have buffs, they have heals, and blah blah blah. They have
Crazy
invis,
idea.
you know?
Crazy idea to fix it. Just thought of it. What if Bard had more skills to choose from and Bards didn't have 10 song? What if he only had access to 5 song and then other interesting skills? Do you think that would be shitty? Do
The
you think
class
it'd be
would probably
cool?
die.
Think it would die.
It would go
What if
from
the
S tier
skills
to
were cool? What if the
very
skills
low.
were viable? The new skills that you could add. Because the current skills outside of
Maybe.
10 songs suck
Maybe.
ass. Like, no, does anyone ever
But I
use
mean-
like the silence skill?
Given how like 90% of the skills and perks in this game are borderline useless compared to the meta, I don't think it's gonna change anything. Just off the top. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay, now how are wizards?
Oh man, wizard guy.
I mean, wizards are fine, but my god, it is so fucking miserable to play that class.
Particularly solo. I challenged
just-
SDF, the lead dev, to play wizard solo for like a month straight, and then he'd be like, "Yeah, this is fun."
Wizard
I feel
sucks
like
ass.
wizard is just. You gotta think like rogues right now are crazy strong. They're everywhere, and then you have double cleric bard. So it's like you dump 12 spells, and the cleric team just casts 1 sanctuary, and there goes over 50% of your spells, and you're trading it for 1. So it's like you just lose that race, I think.
And then you have to do the Mongolian chant on the floor for half an hour,
Yeah.
meditate.
Well, it's like
No.
people know, like you're out of spells, you just dump 5 fireballs or whatever, right? They know you don't have shit left, so they just WQ you until you die.
Well, like
it's
here's the
terrible.
problem. That's the problem in the solo lobbies where it's like, say you're a wizard versing a warlock, they're infinitely casting the Bolt of Darkness. You're a wizard, you've expelled a bunch of fireballs and maybe a couple zaps, and then they know, oh, you've only got some magic missiles left. I can kite those, close the gap. You know what I mean? And then
Yep.
you're just kiting for the rest of the match because that person's now chasing you because you've got no opportunity to get those spells back. You've either got to meditate or campfire, which basically makes you the most vulnerable little beetle on the floor, you know? So yeah, I think a lot of like its problems. There's so many ways they could go about, like they could add mana or something else, and there's so many different ways of addressing it. But one of the like the band-aid things they could do, which a lot of people argue for, is like some kind of regeneration for the spells. Even if it was like every time you attacked a PvE with spells, you would get some of the casting durations back or something
Sure.
like that. Just anything to give some, just so you're not spending so much time on the floor. Because I won't go on a full tangent, but they seem like no one's going to be perfect with the game balance with this, but they do lots of changes with the overall game, but then don't put into consideration some of the things that they changed in a previous meta to account for that.
Right.
You know,
Domino
so like
effect
for instance,
stuff.
yeah. So like everyone's base. Remember I was talking about base speed with Cleric. Everyone's base speed got kind of boosted a bit, but like they nerfed the crap out of haste on Wizard and shit like that. So when you're playing solo Wizard, everyone just goes bees line, like just that they know that like if they just run at you and they go for the 1-2 because you're a squishy, they'll stomach that first couple shots or whatever, you know. That's obviously when you're not fighting a wizard who has like everything true magical damage and does like some zap build or something in HR. But
I think cantrips would help. I think if you didn't have to fucking sit down all the time or risk half your health in melee combat against a fucking goblin, that would help a lot. Self-recharging cantrips.
How do you implement cantrips though?
I think they would need to be attached to items. So like a staff or a wand or something like that, where I get to shoot 10 firebolts out of my wand until I have to hit a key to recharge it for 3 seconds or something like that. Kind of like whenever
stroke the shaft and recharge.
Well, you know, like whenever you shoot your arrows out of a survival bow as a ranger, you got to hit R key to reload, right? So let me hit R key to reload my fucking wand for 3 seconds or something like that, and then keep shooting firebolts. I think something like that would help a lot. And it doesn't have to be super powerful. It doesn't have to have an AoE effect. It doesn't have to have a damage over time effect. It just needs to do a little bit of magic damage with a little bit of scaling, and that allows me to, I don't know, not sit down on my fucking ass in the dirty dungeon every time I decide to cast a zap just so I can play the game. Like, I don't know. I feel like cantrips
I'll tell you what I hate the most about Wizard. Full plate being like 1 move speed higher than a robe wearing, cloth wearing wizard. That shit drives me up the wall. You have like 300 move speed and guy with 74% PDR is at 304. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Truly, I have no idea.
All the PvE having insane magic resistance too. Everyone else just walks through the PvE.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
What's going on?
Yeah, I feel like
why, is there
it should be the opposite.
Why the magic resist hasn't been chipped off of PvE?
I don't know. Like I feel like mobs have way too much magic resistance, and it actually doesn't make that much sense. It should be kind of the opposite. At this point,
there has to be a good reason for it, because I feel like it's been brought up and brought to attention that all the mobs have really high inherent magic resist, but no one knows why. So there must be a reason. They got to.
I think
personally
it's just
don't know.
Wizard used to be crazy strong back in the day.
You know,
that
what
was like
it's the
a
hangover.
long time ago.
It's a hangover from when magic missiles and fireball were just insane, and they just never changed it.
Hey, quick shout out from Lord Collector. What's up, dude? Please inform your guests that STF did state that they were tightening up the hit scan on the announcements channel for patch number 2. So there you go. They were fucking with the hit scan.
For clerics?
Just hit scan in general.
They've been fucking with it. And I've been in a million fights, and I miss my heal at a crucial moment. I'm like, I know when I miss. I'll admit it. That shit was fucking on there, and it didn't activate. Jesus. And then everyone's giving me shit. I'm the one that threw the fight. No, you guys been fucking behind the scenes, not saying anything. I knew it. It's the slight hit scan changes, because it's not hit scan. It does have travel time, the heals, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's
the travel does a little bit.
Fast
it's pretty fast, but it does have a little bit of travel time.
It's like a
you can
Hanzo
see
arrow.
the green beam.
Yeah,
like
I'm pretty sure it is, because you can parry a holy light, to give you an idea.
What?
That's ridiculous.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you never seen that? Back in the day, some guy parrying a holy light?
I mean, you could block it, so it makes sense. I think you still can.
That's sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can.
Fuck
Not
that
sick,
heal.
It's annoying.
Tink. I like that.
Speaking of hit scan, should we segue onto your discussion about Warlocks versus your Cleric experience? Because I have that clip handy the showcase.
Well, I play Druid.
Oh, you're playing Druid now?
Nowadays.
Yeah, I've watched you play a lot of Cleric when you first started.
Yeah, no, I don't mean, I'll queue up Cleric again, but I just don't want to be like, I feel like everyone who plays Cleric right now is a fucking loser. Like that's how it feels. I don't like them as a person.
Club.
Oh, I heard it's really busted OP right now, and they're gonna nerf it soon. I'm gonna take advantage of this. And they get in, they do their ooga booga. Well, I don't even need to know what I'm doing. This is crazy, and I don't want to be matched in with them. All right, so I haven't touched it because it's too stupid right now. I mean, it still is apparently. I thought they nerfed it, but so no, my life has been bear form. I lose to Warlocks as bear form Druid, obviously, so it's even worse for me. I fucking hate that. I hate Warlock. Yeah, let's dive into it. I'm all for it.
All right, I'll show you the clip first. So to give everyone context, it's a clip of Seriously Soapy, the streamer playing. He's a solo ranger. He does lots of 1v2s and 3s. He's playing a match. He's in High Roller, and he crosses a Warlock who evidently has like a high willpower, true magical damage stacked build on items. So he's like stacked out the wazoo on magical damage, and it's the cursor pains that he throws at him. And even before the fight starts, you just hear it's Soapy's voice. He goes, "Oh, I'm dead." All right, so I'm going to quickly switch over to screen share. Hopefully, I don't broadcast my Brazilian fart porn. All right, here we go.
All right.
All right.
You watch that in the bowling alley, bro?
Brazilian.
What a freak.
Okay, you can see that. You might
Yes,
have to make
sir.
it bigger on your streams, gentlemen, for this.
Yep.
Your streams to see it. All right,
Okay.
going full screen. Hopefully, it doesn't freeze because I have problems. Everyone can see it.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, I'm hitting play.
Oh, I'm dead.
Watch the dots. And he's eating rations, so that would have been 3 hits.
He hits me with 3 hit scan curses, boys! It's been good! It's been good!
Oh my god.
Jesus. I'm not...
Yeah, he got toasted.
Fucking Soapy's laugh, dude.
What is Soapy's gear? Does he show his gear, what he's wearing?
Not in the clip, I don't think, but he's
Probably
he
some
was-
mid gear.
Yeah, it wouldn't be like crazy, but it wouldn't
Yeah.
be like useless either. But
Wow.
Ranger doesn't have the craziest magic resistance, but even that's still insane, you know? Like there's no counterplay really. Even if he shot him with an arrow, if I disappear, it's because I pressed the wrong button. One sec. Let's see. Stop streaming. Yeah, we're good. All right.
I mean, he just heals everything you throw back at the Warlock. He's just
Yeah,
going to heal
exactly.
through while just killing
Yeah.
him.
Yeah. No,
Warlock's strong.
I want everyone to know watching the streams that I play Warlock. So I already pissed off the rogue community being vocal about landmines. I want everyone to know I play Warlock. So
I wish you would do that again, by the way.
Why? Because it's happening again with the high
Oh,
gear.
yeah, it's just a rogue epidemic all over.
Oh,
This game
when
really
I tuned
does
into
just
your
cycle.
stream and you were saying how you died like 4 times today already, like with juice gear or something by him.
Yeah, I walked
What's
through
the new
wrong
rogue
doorway.
issue, Jay? What's the
Yeah.
new rogue issue? Is it landmines back or what?
Well, it's not new. It's just yeah. Well, Druid got axed, right? Panther Druid got gutted, so they all just went back to rogue. Because it
I see.
essentially was like the second rogue.
Yeah. No,
Interesting.
not to go off topic a bit too much, but like back onto the Warlock, like I'll throw it to Jay first because he deals. You play trios more than me with solos. They're not in trios as much, are they? Like they are, but they're not like everywhere
I
like
mean,
the solos and
Warlock's not
duos.
crazy bad. Yeah, Warlock's not
Yeah.
like tough to deal with, really.
It seems to be something that people are vocal about in duos and solos, and
Yeah.
a lot of balance in this game is always like you could just change something by like 4 numbers and it makes the class useless. So it's a very delicate subject with like how you deal with Warlock. But what we saw there, like that's not cool. Like I don't.
What the fuck do
like,
you
what
do?
Yeah, what do you do? So what would you do if you were Soapy there, Jay? Like I'm just curious. Remember, he just came around a corner. Like he was prepping for a fight, and then it's just the Warlock comes around, and then that's it.
Run
Like,
for a
what
door.
do you do from there on?
Run for
Yeah.
door.
Given Soapy, he should have had about 7 more traps down. That maybe would have helped him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for situations where like, ah, fuck, you know, and there's nothing you can do. That should happen, but it shouldn't be based on simply how a class is.
Mm.
And they walked up to you.
The hard
that
counter
shouldn't-
discussion.
That shouldn't be a thing. That sucks. I
And-
hate them warlocks. I think everyone. I think I'm like honestly clerics. I think you're a loser if you play warlocks or clerics in solo right now. 100%.
And if it's my solution, you have to run to a door and break line of sight and run. That's not good either. That's bad. It's bad when the winning move is I run away. That sucks. So I was talking to. Oh, are we? Do you guys still want to talk Warlock? Because I had a pivot.
I
It's
would.
just-
We can
Warlock
always
is
come
such
back.
a finished class. It's just so finished. It seems like the one solved class of the game where they,
It
they're
has
kind of like
it has
done
like
with
6
it.
builds, subclasses within it. Like no other
At
class
least
has that. We
6.
could do like plague
Yeah.
lock, demon lock, curse lock.
For the
fucking
fact that it can
Rainlock.
solo the
Yeah.
entire game, I think is a slight issue as well. It's just. Do you guys think a class should
soloing
do that?
bosses?
Oh yeah, I mean I mean anyone I think could solo as a Torture Mastery Warlock can solo normal Lich. Any player right now, if you have a little bit of magical healing. It's that easy to do.
How much health do you need to survive the purple solo explosion?
It's 95% of your max health.
Oh, so it doesn't actually one-shot you.
Nope. Yeah, you can do it with like 10 HP, technically, I guess.
You just need to make sure that you
my
have
God.
enough stuff leached at all times during the fight.
Yeah, you just have to be full.
Yeah, and then you're good.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. I guess I'm stupid.
Yeah, you could
Fuck.
easily. I mean, you can solo HR Lich super easily too. I mean, it's.
I
not
saw
that
a
much
Warlock
different.
solo it, and I'm like, man, I wish I could make it would be that easy. Maybe I should try luck, but I don't feel like finding out what the health threshold is that I need. Now I know. I don't even need to worry about that. Just be full health.
It's a little bit too good. It's a little too good. I think. I don't know.
But like that's kind of like the Warlock lore. If you nerf it too, like what Warlocks already aren't that good in threes. They're not bad, but they're not by any means
They're
busted.
viable, perfectly
They're
viable.
viable. So like, so what? How do you change the inherent way Warlocks work with the self healing to be not stupid in solos? What do you do? That's a really hard question.
Well, as Jay was
Yeah.
saying, Warlock feels like it's an actual complete class, and it's that like it's almost like it's done, right? Does any other class? Maybe we just need to see what the other classes are like when they
Well-
feel done.
Well, what are you gonna do for fighter? Like, what's not done about that? I feel like with new weapons coming in, I don't think it's gonna inherently
Fighter
change
feels
the
a little
gameplay.
done.
I think
Right?
fighter needs additional playstyles. I do not think fighter's done. I think fighter needs additional playstyles like around
Like
like
nunchucks?
two-hand weapons, stuff like that. like there's no proper two-hand build for fighters, which I think
Longsword, I
sucks.
thought was pretty good.
No, I mean like perk wise and stuff like that. Like sure, you can like I mean, okay, the perks for longsword, you're fucking running shield mastery and shit. Like, come on. Like if I
That's
have to
true,
run
okay.
shield mastery for my longsword build, I find that odd. So I don't think fighter's done. I think fighter needs more shit. I think fighter needs more options. But I think fighter also should always feel like the easy vanilla class because that's kind of what it is. I'm the guy in the metal suit that's going to stab you. That's about it, you know? So
What about Barbarian? I heard that Bonk Wizard is a better Barbarian right now.
I main barb and I fucking
might be
destroy
completely
people.
wrong.
My take on it was more like you can do insane damage with Bonk Wizard, right? With the ignite and all that kind of stuff. But what it feels like, it's like a cop out for Wizard mains where it's like people go, yeah, no, Wizard's super viable. You just got to play the Bonk build. And my thought goes, well, why not just play Barbarian or Fighter? Because like you're playing a caster to cast, not a caster to roleplay as a
Well,
Barbarian.
Bonk Wizard still has zap, and you got your like hit scan, damage.
You get
You know,
range.
you've got you still got some good ass buttons,
Yeah.
and then you also bonk hard as fuck. Like it's not like you're like, oh, I do a little less than Barb. No, you pretty much do the same, and it's magic. It's
Yeah.
pretty good,
Yeah.
but you also don't have 250 health. So there's that.
That part sucks, but if you're running like Fire Mastery and shit like that, your fireballs and your zaps hurt real fucking bad. What does Barbarian have for range? I'll fucking shit out a couple of Franny axes and then hope I get lucky and paint you into a corner. At
Those
least
motherfuckers aren't
Bonk
hit scan.
Wizard has fucking fireballs and shit, you know?
Yeah.
So, is Barb in a good spot? I don't know where Barb plays in.
Barb just gets outclassed by Cleric. That's why it's dead.
So
all
Same with
melee is
Fighter.
fucked because of Cleric.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think
Fighters and Barbs are just kind of a joke.
I think
Compared to
Barbarian
Cleric, I
can
think.
actually, if you do proper spacing with a Cleric as a Barbarian, and if you run Blood Exchange, which is how I play the Barb, Blood Exchange, almost always, you can go toe to toe with a Cleric, but you cannot take every smite bonk hit to that, or you lose. You have to dodge a little bit, but with Blood Exchange, you can survive. You get a decent amount of health.
What does
back.
Blood Exchange do?
You lose some of your max health, but every hit that lands during the time of the skill is activated, you get 10% of your max health back. So I like to run, like, for instance, like Treacherous Lungs and a bunch of buff duration with Warcry, which gives you 25% of your max health for X amount of seconds. And so I pop that and Blood Exchange together. Suddenly my health pool, even with
And you're just
I have like fuck
so
tons of
10%
health.
becomes a lot.
Yes. And then I also use
Interesting.
double
But
axe,
wouldn't
and
the
I do this
demon
in trees.
lifesteal warlock just be better?
I kill warlocks all the time, and the reason why this is
Oh,
so
well,
good,
okay.
especially in trios, is I use double axe or like a weapon that cleaves. So I'll run in and if I hit 3 people and like the skeleton they're fighting and I hit all 4, I just got 40% of my health back with 1 hit. So I can actually make plays where I'm going in 1v2 while the other 2 guys on my team are setting up a play, and I can sustain long enough for them to get a kill and then turn the tide. So Blood Exchange, in my opinion, is super fucking good. And if you're not playing Blood Exchange,
Yeah,
and
I'm
you're
not
like,
gonna lie.
go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's
I don't think I've ever seen a Blood Exchange Barbarian in Trios High Roller.
I love
Not
it.
one ever.
I mean, I'm also not at your level though. I'm not you know, on the repos Ken Nobby Jay Griffia squad. I'm not a popular
I
kid.
never see it. I never
Well,
seen that
that's
before.
that's another thing with these balance talks. Sometimes the game plays completely different versus low end gear and the high end gear. You know what I mean? Like as simple as that. There's 2 different metas going on at the same time. Always.
Sure.
I haven't played with any Barbarian yet, and people I have played with that, like, I play with Lakari, and Lakari tries to think. He does his best. But when he plays Barbarian, he doesn't even try anymore. And everyone else I've played that plays Barbarian, their brain really isn't on. And so I don't know, maybe it's a problem with the class. It's crazy. They actually go in and they do like, yeah, I'm going to hit 4 people with my axe, like you're talking about, Soma. No, they just die instantly. So that's
But
my
you can't
only
just hold
experience
W
with
key.
Barbarians is them actually...
You can't just hold W key.
okay.
A Barbarian in good hands, like like an actual pretty above average player that knows how to, you know, engage in a team fight, that understands the map, that knows when to like back out, fucking destroys, I think. But I'm also not playing in the top 10% of players like Jay and guys like that. So I don't know what the all stars are doing.
Didn't Barbarian have its time to shine? Wasn't it like the buff ball
For a year and a half.
Forever.
So,
Forever.
it
Barbarian's
really did.
king.
So
yeah.
why do
Yeah.
why do you think that stopped? Because I don't think clerics are the reason. It stopped before that. What was the change?
I know one big change with the Barbarians. They were almost a better ranger than the Rangers because you could have double stack throwing axes, right?
Yeah.
And you could put them on every single tool belt. So you would have what felt like 20 axes, and it'd be like just like literally machine gun throwing axes with Achilles strike that would slow you down and steal health. So it became like you would get into a fight, Barbarian would just machine gun you with like 6 to like 8 throwing axes and then just come in and cleave you. Whereas they've dialed that back now where you can't machine gun like crazy. You could do 1 or 2, maybe 3, 4, and you gotta make it count. So that's one of the big fundamental changes.
They were doing range damage while life stealing?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
yeah, with
no one ever ran that.
and I also want to bring up. So Achilles Strike is also what I typically run if I don't want to run Warcry and be a super tank. I will run Achilles with Blood Exchange because when people are taking damage from the Achilles Strike, you're getting health back from the ability as well. So you slow them down, they try to run away, and you're hitting them. So you're getting essentially like a super potion back. So, and then if you also run morale boost, which gives you 12% of your health back when you kill an enemy player, there's times where I've waited through like 6 players and I leave the fight with over half my health because of morale boost and Blood Exchange and whatnot. It's pretty good. If you're struggling as a Barbarian player, try this build out. Try it in norms, you know, like sub 125. See how it is. But like what I typically play is like super juicy gear in norms, not really HR that much. So I'm still going up against people with a lot of gear, but it's not the super gods that are gracing HR. So
it's not cleric or warlock.
That's the good thing about norms on the top end with gear is people just play whatever the fuck they want. They don't seem to care that much. It's HR that typically has the meta where you have to like play specific things. You have to play a certain way.
I should have been Q and high roller. Because, like, I played bear form, and I tried so hard, like, to counter these fucking clerics, because I can beat them as bear. I really can. But then, man, it's always the opposite. If I Q bear form, it's only warlocks. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me go panther, and it's only clerics. I swear, I feel like I'm being fucked. Something's wrong with, like, the Q system and matchmaking. Either that or everyone's a stream sniper. Because I don't like saying that, because I was like...
You would be surprised.
Yeah. I mean, just the other day... Some guy, I'm like, everyone's like, that guy's a stream sniper. I'm like, I'm not going to assume that. And the guy literally came up and said, hi, Soda, right after. So,
yep.
Listen, I hate it.
Sucks.
I really do.
That sucks. So I was talking to a normie friend who does not play video games at all. The last game he played was like fucking Super Nintendo, like I don't know, like Super Mario Brothers on Nintendo or some shit. And he was asking about Dark and Darker and like what's new in the game? Tell me about the game. And I told him that a new thing that was coming out was an arena mode. And he said,
Let's go.
Cool, arena, nice. Is that going to be like an esport thing? Because I've talked about esports before. And I didn't really know what to say because obviously, historically speaking, when a developer creates a game with esports in mind and they try to shoehorn that and force it, most of the time it fucking sucks. It fails and no esports scene really develops. But if the game is good and it organically develops, then you get yourself a cool esport, right?
Yeah,
so,
of course.
With arena mode coming, and we don't really know what it's going to be like yet, but it is on the way. Do you guys think that there's a world, and we'll just go around the room, you guys all can answer it, but do you guys think there's a world where Dark and Darker could be like a high-end competitive esport? Like trios in the arena, like actual signed teams, like TSM fucking whatever, the Dark and Darker squad. I don't even know if that's possible. I don't think it is, but I would love to hear what you guys think. What if there was like a really good camera system, a really good spectator system? Like what if they like put all the tools in? Is it viable?
This game is amazingly watchable. So if they did the proper observer tools and stuff like that, it would be very fun to watch. But esports like Origin stuff, I don't think so. The base game's not even balanced. What makes you think the arena?
Sure, I know. I don't mean tomorrow. I don't mean tomorrow. I mean like
Here's the
in
deal.
the future.
I reckon with because I have a bit of an esports background, like with tournaments and stuff and all that kind of shit, especially with the Quake scene, right? With the turbo nerds, like actual like esports dudes, they wouldn't respect it because there's too many random variables in the game, right? So on a like nerd level, it wouldn't be classified as a proper esport.
Well, what's
right?
random?
What's random? As in, like, if you play like a symmetrical balance game, whether it's like an arena FPS like Quake, or you play Counter-Strike, which have some asymmetrical maps, but they're like there's balance to them for whatever reason with attack and defend, right? Games like Counter-Strike, they're designed like a game. It's like a chess game. You have, like it literally is like FPS chess, right? This game just isn't that. It's like, yes, you could have it come in with like, maybe you could give a team a certain amount of points and they can make a build from those points they have, like you've got to like work out, what are we going to, every team is a race to like the meta.
How about a pick and ban phase like League of Legends?
Yeah, something like that. But
what if you could like outright ban certain classes going in, like no cleric?
You can ban types of gear and you can ban classes. Fuck heater shields. You can take them out.
No Quaix, no Pwait. Anything else goes. You can have those. You can have those matches.
If they could pull it off, but they'd have to basically make Arena a completely different game to the base game.
Yeah,
it means they're making two games at the same time. That's what I'm basically saying. They could pull it off, but they got to develop two games simultaneously in one game, essentially.
Yeah, I'm so excited for Arena, but then I think of the long term. I put myself in the shoes of the dev, right? And I think, how does this affect the game as a whole? And it is a scary terrain because what if Arena is great and it's like people want arena balance now, but by fucking with the arena balance, you fuck with just the base game balance. What if there's hard to get queues now in the dungeon and go farm? Like everyone's just queuing Arena because it's easier and it's quicker PvP. So what kind of effect is that going to have on the game as a whole? I don't know. That being said, I fucking love Arena. I want it. I'm excited. Could it ever be an esport? I mean, why fucking limit yourself? Maybe, but don't plan on it. That's what I think.
Fair enough.
Sure.
Spud?
I think Arena would be a big hit, but yeah, I do think it might negatively hit the game because they do have to run two games at once. But they could give it the ARAM treatment. ARAM, they got like modifiers and stuff.
You could do some shit. And onto the fact of the RNG, Spud, you talked about how people don't respect it. I mean, I guess if I think of World of Warcraft in Wrath, for example, like when spells would resist, like, oh, it's just a bunch of RNG. He got the first to spell. I mean, being adaptable to bullshit. But you're right. Dark and Darker's like, oh no, one thing went wrong and I died. Like it's not like WoW where it's like he resisted. Oh no, whatever. I don't know. I mean, fuck, we gotta see it when it plays out.
So I just want to say with that comment, I mainly meant like the top 5-10% of the sweaties. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean by that,
Oh,
like the
I
people
hear
that
you.
really know like what a competitive game is. You know what I mean? Like, I think battle royales having like an 8-year dominance where some of the battle royales weren't balanced. Like it was like, oh, I land here, I get a toothpick, and that guy gets a fucking tactical nuke on the right of me, right?
Yeah.
Like those games, that was all marketing. You put a whole bunch of money into a game, make a tournament scene with a game that may not be fairly balanced. Like Apex wasn't balanced for what felt like maybe 2 years. Like it's a really good game now, but they were doing like big tournaments with that game where it was just like you had to pick these 2 or 3 classes or it was GG. Like Wraith, everyone remembers that. You just pick like you had to have a Wraith, otherwise GG, right?
I mean, fuck. Now that I think about Arena, I think
Yeah.
it wouldn't be. Maybe it would, but I would love to see Arena not be so ooga booga, go in and just start swinging. What if like you're trying to keep track of the enemy healers' spells, and you're like trying to run down and have more heals by the end, right? You're trying to squeeze in resting randomly, and you have both people watching both sides. Oh, they're coming. You get back up, and you could do some. There could be some actual. What's the word? I'm too stupid. Being methodical.
That's
Yeah,
a word.
Fight
That's a
rather
word.
than yeah. So like you
I
could be
thi-
pretty
I think-
methodical with that. But that's a I don't
think
know.
it's-
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think it's similar to WoW. You would do trade cooldowns in this game. You know, people
Yeah.
play like that.
That's true.
It's not, but like now we think about how is that to watch? Like, oh my god, he's got one more holy light than the enemy cleric. Wow. Like, I don't know. How does that play out viewer wise? Fuck this. I don't know.
Sure.
That being to play.
I mean,
it,
I think
don't
it's
give a fuck about watching, I'm gonna
like
play it.
similar to like a Counter-Strike. Like he's got no smokes left, he's got no flashes left, he's just going over this pistol. So like, there's gonna be moments like that. And I also don't
Yeah.
think that it's gonna be like a 20-minute match either. It's gonna be like micro matches. Like, all right, you jump in the arena, and like 2 minutes later, you're on to the next round, probably, right?
Yeah.
So what is the plan for me? I heard it was going to be like 4 squares. You're in a normal dungeon and there's PvE, but it's just 2 teams.
No
That's
one
what
is.
I was told, but I don't. I was told by like a fucking viewer, maybe. So no one of actual officialness.
God, I hope there's no PvE.
Yeah, it hasn't been. It
I
hasn't
really
been
want
shared
them to
at all.
mirror WoW Arena. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I had a stoned friend bring up something the other day, and we were talking about it, and I thought it was a fucking great idea. I might get.
Wisdom of the stoned ones.
Yeah, like he's like, I got an
Sometimes they get great
idea,
ideas.
dude. I got an idea.
I bet it's a great one too. Go ahead.
It's actually cool, and I think it'd be sick. I think chat's gonna be split on it. Whatever. It's just a stoned idea, but. Imagine an ARAM mode in Dad where you queue in with a couple buddies, you get a random fucking skin, a random class, random perks, random abilities, random loadout, and minions march from this part of the hall to that and that part. And it's like, and if you're in the Goblin map, it's goblins in a line, just like fucking ARAM in League. If you're in the Crypts map, it's skeletons, whatever. And you try to cut through the PvE and kill them enough times to destroy their core or their Skelly champ or whatever's at the
So
end.
you want first-person League of Legends Dark and Darker?
That's not. It's my stoned friend who thought it was a good idea that I also thought sounded cool. But I just wanted you guys to know about that sick idea.
I do think it could be nice where winning one fight doesn't win you the whole thing, right?
Sure.
Because like in a game like that, sure, you win the team fight and you get to push a little farther. You gain a little bit of an advantage, but the game's not anywhere close to over. Something like that could be cool, especially for actual competitiveness. It sounds so stupid comparing Dark and Darker to any MOBA at all.
I know. It's not actually
what a weird
viable.
Comparison.
Yeah, it's not actually viable. It's a completely different
I'm not-
game. I just thought it sounded cool. I don't know. It sounded fun.
The concept isn't terrible, in my opinion.
One thing that I thought
um,
was sick about it was that it would allow people to experience every class and all kinds of different build outs and also different skins and whatnot, so that maybe they'd really enjoy a certain skin or a certain build and then try new shit or purchase something in the game or try a different build, stuff like that. But
you think it's better to force people to play random shit they like the hand that
in an
they're dealt,
ARAM,
or is it
in an ARAM, yeah. I mean, maybe you
in
get
an
one reroll, just like in League or something like that. Hit the reroll button once, and I go from Barb to
Maybe
being a
as
fucking...
like an LTM, but
What is
I actually
LTM?
disagree. I don't like limited time mode,
okay?
like
Yeah.
seasonal mode or whatever.
Yeah.
I think I don't really agree with you guys on the RNG. I feel like there's no RNG in this game, unless you mean like you're playing Hide Rupture Rogue into triple caster, and like the RNG is you not having the equip stuff.
Like, let's say you're like you're an average tier player, right? You're not the Jay Griffith, you're not Repose or Kenobi, right? you're your average Joe and you
Me.
spawn in a certain room that like
Okay, but that's the base
like-
game. I don't think that would
yeah.
apply to arena though. You know what I mean?
yeah no. Oh, I know what you're saying now.
I'm
no, I
talking
was
like
more-
strictly arena. is all.
You know,
Oh.
I think you're actually right, Jay. I'm trying to think of like pure RNG. At the end, like, oh, they got the first hit, like skill issue.
Yeah.
Oh, they got the jump on us. Oh, skill issue. Like actually.
Well, I was more or less thinking about like you guys are now talking about it being a pure like a separate tournament. Like it is truly designed as an arena tournament game because I thought the talk that they had in the past, guys, was they were going to have it integrated with the game where you have to earn your gear in the matches and then bring it in. So then I thought it was just going to be this mode where it's only the turbo nerds that play 12 hours a day that are going to have the best kits, the best setups, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Because they said it's not going to be like, Tarkov Arena or something where it's going to be a separate instance game or Apex Arena. So that's where I was talking about the RNG because, a turbo nerd that's playing 12 hours a day is obviously going to have advantages because they've constantly built up these meta kits. And if you're constantly winning and if you can do loot in arena, you go, oh, the reward of winning in a game was I'm going to take SodaPoppin's best in slot kit after beating them. And then now SodaPoppin's going to be like, well, shit, I got to play with the boys for another couple hours in the main game to earn a kit to then go play arena. Sorry to interrupt. Just in case people are misconstruing the RNG thing. That's where my head was at with it.
I think if they ship it like that, it's dead on arrival.
Yeah.
I don't think they can ship it with bringing your own gear in. That's going to never be balanced and it'll never be a serious mode.
Well, what if it has gear
I
score
agree.
limits, just like norms? What if there's like a little gray boy Timmy?
No, you need to
arena
have similar loadouts, exact same power levels, Fuck the rolls and stuff like that.
That's where the balance is. And that's where there's no RNG. When it's symmetrical and everyone's on an even playing field.
Okay, so you want a lobby where basically you have a store where you basically pick the gear for that match that you get to see once
Sure.
you're in. How long of a wait time should that be? Because that shit can get real fucking stale and boring. I guess
Not that
it's the
long.
fix. It's like
Just
60
couple,
seconds.
like a couple minutes tops. Yeah.
Maybe you
Okay.
just have a squire, but that's for your arena characters. You know what I mean? Like in the squire, there's an arena tab.
Or
And
like
everyone
specific
picks from
gladiator
similar
gear,
level
and
of
it's
gear.
like can only be brought into the arena, and it's from that vendor.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
just like the whole like thinking of how it's going to tie into the game, I think is incredibly hard to do. And we will never know until it comes out, right? Because even Grayson months ago was like everyone's guessed a million different ways and none of them are it, So it makes me wonder how they're going to do it. Because Tarkov Arena is flawed because the kits are incredibly imbalanced from the get-go.
Tarkov
if you bring
has
your
arena?
own gear.
Yeah,
Tarkov Arena. It's dead.
That's why
It's
it's flopped. You
terrible.
didn't know. So doesn't know how to arena.
I never even
because-
played. I don't even play Tarkov. So I played
Yeah.
it once and I died to a minefield and I'm like, all right, that's it. I had
Sounds
no
about
clue what
right.
happened. I don't like gun gaming. Is
Was
boring
that
to
in
me.
woods? Was that in woods? Were you dead?
Yeah,
to it?
I think so.
I died of that minefield before. Shit fucking
I saw
sucked.
some sign. I'm like, it probably doesn't mean anything, and it did.
Yeah,
Which was
I
cool.
think of
I've done
WoW
that.
Arena, where it like obviously past like I don't know, like even 1500. Everyone's in similar gear, right? And the only difference is you trade damage for tankiness. Like you drop resilience, you wear more PvE gear. But like,
I agree.
and that's fine because everyone has the same gear, at the end of the day. So I don't see how Arena comes out and it's not going to be in a similar light.
Okay,
Or else it's going to be
and
flawed from the get-go.
an arena should just have a rating, and that's it. What's your
Yeah.
arena rating?
It could be a replacement for the leaderboard problem. Like
Sure.
the leaderboard's good. It's an in-game battle pass where you get cosmetics and some rewards and stuff. Like that's good, but they definitely need to replace it because nobody thinks it's.
you
Everyone
guys
thinks
think
it's a
it'd be-
joke, right?
Do you guys think could become something that cannibalizes the actual main game, and the main game becomes a side dish to the actual game? The main game being what we've been playing all this time, right? So I'm trying to think of like, although it is still the same game, like casual Counter-Strike gun game. Imagine that's like the main game of Counter-Strike, but then the actual like tournament mode is what we know of Counter-Strike. Yeah, like most casuals play Counter-Strike. They're playing gun game. They're playing surf maps. They're fucking around and having fun. Not that. At least that's from my experience when I used to play
I think
Counter-Strike.
they're
right?
walking on ice. And
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
so-
important how it's
yeah.
implemented for
Yeah.
sure.
God, I just know I want to play arena. Yeah, I
Same.
would love
Well, that's
that.
the thing. That's the thing. I know. Here's the deal. I go running around looking for fights now because, like, I've done the questing. I've done all that. I've been playing the game for 2 years, so I'm
Yep.
thirsty for fights. So
Yeah.
I know I'm just going to be sitting in arena. the whole time.
I mean, yeah.
Why?
Same.
I got a question for you guys. Why did Tarkov Arena sort of fail? Like I didn't actually touch it, but so many people were so excited for that, and it kind of, I don't know, flopped. Like, can you guys give me the
Because
rundown?
it's Tarkov for one. Game's
Well,
a
yeah, I
massive
fucking hate
pile of
Tarkov.
shit
So
and
yeah.
bugs.
Yeah, Tarkov does suck.
And
Well, that, and I feel like when it comes to the, I'm so ignorant potentially. The shooting genre competitive scene feels pretty handled. Maybe I don't. What is Tarkov's Arena like? What is their thing? Is it like Counter Strike
it's 5v5 and
and a bomb?
later into the
defuse?
match, a flag spawns that you need to capture. Yeah.
Let's put it, you nailed it by saying they're not doing anything different. They're providing something that's already catered to.
Yeah.
But also, their whole audience, they're playing a survival borderline sandbox. You know, you got a big open map, you go loot, you do questing. And now you're expecting that audience, that player base to go full 5v5 competitive. Here's one. I'm going for the ghillie suit. You know, like that kind of like, it's just not their audience. So, it's just so,
Actual audio.
yeah.
What really flopped Arena for Tarkov though is that the kits were so imbalanced. Like if you had, and not only that, but it was an investment. So there's like trees that you could go down to unlock other kits, and it's like one of them was actually good out of the 10 options. So if you didn't pick that tree, you were boned because you have to invest time, you have to level up, you have to unlock that skill tree to get better kits. You know,
Interesting.
I mean, and I think when it comes to the fantasy genre, there is a serious. I'm a WoW Arena player. I think there's a big demand for that healing and tanking and DPS being methodical.
The Holy Trinity.
it's fantasy
like
Overwatch is what it would really be.
Yeah, but like, you know, Overwatch is when's my ult up? You know, like that's kind of what Overwatch was. This is more, hey, we're lower on heals, we can ooga booga. It's being method, whatever the fuck. So I don't know. I'm pumped about Arena. Y'all need to hurry up.
It's coming.
There's
a couple things coming
we're gonna
soon.
have like first person WoW Arena is gonna be a huge selling point.
Absolutely.
There's no game like that.
Yeah.
The amount of like WoW players that I've known they've messaged me like, hey, is there an arena gonna happen in this game? Because like they're all competitive players, but like there's no like that Trinity arena that doesn't really exist right now. I guess WoW, it still exists, but you know, this is such a different take on it. They're hungry for it for sure. Just hope it doesn't kill the main game. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, but also it is an early access game, and if it sucks, they could just shelve it, right? I mean, Ruins is an entire map that was put on the shelf for a rework, and I don't think SDF is afraid to just say that didn't work. Fuck it. Let's toy with it and see if it works later, which I think is great. And now's the time to cook and fuck up dishes and figure out what the recipe is, right?
So the things being worked on now, you got Ruins being worked on, Turtle Form, Penguin Form, Sork. Water map, what?
Yeah, a water map. Which is crazy because they're gonna bring aquatic forms into the game with penguin and turtle.
No, they're not. They didn't. No, they're not doing that. That's stupid.
Yeah, they're doing that.
Am I actually gonna be fucking penguining around just like I'm too fast? This is my map. Ooh.
Probably.
You're telling me you wouldn't want to be a penguin in the ice caverns? Come on.
I'm gonna fucking play Druid and I'm gonna have to quit, just like why I had to quit Cleric, because it's fucking dumb and it's like I feel stupid playing this class.
All right, okay. Let's say you're not playing Cleric, you're not playing Druid or Warlock. What's left for you, Soda? What would you play in the game? What class is left?
I'd probably play Bard solo. I like the skill ceiling.
Okay.
I think it's really good too. I think it doesn't deserve enough complaints in solos, so I could play it.
Bard's amazing. Bard is quite amazing.
It's not only the best trio class pretty much, but it's also really fucking good solo. It's slept
good
on.
everywhere.
It's good everywhere.
It's just a good ass
every
class.
team comp.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd get pretty annoyed, like, oh, this buff's falling off. I gotta hit 4 3 times, and then I gotta hit 3 like 2 times to do my other instrument. I've got 80 of them. Why don't we just get some big ass piano that just does all of it? So it's like one thing.
Well, that's the secret why you don't see it everywhere. So I heard even the Rogue #1 Repose even say that he considers Bard the best solo class, and I do too. Like, if you know
True.
what you're doing and you're a good player, it is the best solo class. But that's why you don't see it everywhere, like you saw Rogue Landmines or the Barbarian meta, because it required a bit of effort. Like, it still does. Like, it requires effort. You got to do the old little diddle and all the APM and the micromanaging of all your tunes constantly. And that's the only thing that divides it from being that thing that everyone whinges about and saying it's OP. Because I tell you what, like, when they scale up all their damage with speed and strength and then maybe a shriek of weakness, and they run at you with the rapier sword,
It's curtains.
yeah, dude, it's over. Like, you just got to keep kiting them until it's the tune runs out, you know?
I mean, you're forgetting the 18,000 arrows sticking out of your fucking stomach with a survival bow. It's actually torturing people. That's can you imagine that? Like, I'd rather take a longbow to the face and be done. These guys actually pelt you with like 1,000 needles. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It does like no damage, but I guess I miss when survival bows sucked and that shit sold for nothing. I wouldn't even pick up the legendary ones. I miss those days.
I still hate the
That's
survival.
It's
I'm
either
a
10
recurve guy.
arrows or 1 crossbow shot. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
I'd
you know,
take give me the crossbow bolt to the head any day if I had to choose. Make it real quick.
I got one shot by a windlass the other day. I was wearing full armor, bear druid, so everything with plus armor. And he one shot me in human form from across the map.
Oh yeah.
Sounds about right.
And then I was like, you know, I'm gonna watch this guy. And then some warlock, full legendaries by the way, was opening one of those doors that goes to the mid of Goblin Caves, and he just shot through that little crack. He died. I mean, I didn't know until he opened the door. Like, oh yeah, that's his body. Killed him too. Actually, one-shotting everything.
It's Dark and
That's
Darker's
crazy.
op. It's the op. Every game needs an op, right?
I mean, fuck. So, like, let's just say the meta of Arena ends up being that fucking op, and that's the entire game. But Rangers aren't that complained about.
They used
So
to
what
be.
do we do?
They used to be. Big
They were,
time
they
but-
were
but right
crazy.
now-
Not right now, though.
But now you have to play him in such a, like, if you're a solo one too, like, I guess I'll do another shout out to Soapy. If you watch, you should tune, like, if any, like, here you go. SodaPoppin, if you want to learn how to play Ranger solo, just for, like, you know, fuck it.
I've seen
watch
Soapy's
Soapy.
videos. I saw
Yeah,
him kill
'cause
some
he-
team, some legendary warlock. His other two teammates had trash gear, but yeah, he 1v3. He does. He owns.
The way you do it now is you got to have a recurve, a wireless crossbow to do openings on like that initial damage, especially on PDR characters,
20
and then try
traps.
and bait them into a trap. Yeah, and like 20 traps. Otherwise, people just run you down because everyone's got high speed, you know, compared to the old days. So
So you got to
that's
basically
why I
like,
love
just
it. Yeah,
trap every room around you.
pretty
Yep.
much.
That's miserable.
That's kind of what he does.
It is. Well, that's why you don't see
Kind
a
of
lot
his
of it
thing.
anymore. He loves it. I
He's
used to
a
play Ranger.
psychopath.
Got tired of it. Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
I have a question for you before. Sorry.
No, go.
Because we were talking about arena mode.
Yeah.
With your experience, because you've been doing this since like literally the caveman times of Twitch, like the dawn of like gaming content creation. From your experience with watching the gaming scene, World of Warcraft, the whole thing, because like Dark and Darker has a tight player base. Like it's not a tiny niche, but it's not super duper mainstream, right?
There's a reason
How-
for that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. What do you think that reason is? And then what do you think they can do over time? Because there's lots of things like Twitch drops to bring awareness, but how do you keep people? I'm really curious what your perspective is on how to grow the game and how to keep it. It's a big
Well-
question. You can think on it. I don't
No,
want to put you on the
no.
spot.
I got one immediate. I know that watching the game sucks. Unless you're like actually playing the game. 90% of Dark and Darker, watching it, is watching someone or in the market buying and selling, running around looking for a fight, or sitting there with your hands looting something. You know, there's really not much else going on 90% of the time. So that doesn't fucking help. With Arena, hey, it might be a little different. I think the store kind of sucks. I think streamers' fix to it is definitely to get fencers. Do you have a fencer, Jay?
Yep.
Spud, do you guys have
Of course.
fencers? Where do you get them? I've been looking.
I'll hook you up if you want one. I'll put you on.
Yeah, because
Wow.
so I don't have a fencer. And just the other day on stream, I was like, just get someone from chat. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not going to do it. Who the fuck do I? And they're like, go to this guild. I'm not going to do it. No, I don't trust anyone in chat. So, but I do these fights. I feel good. And now everyone's like, well, you got what a nice kit. All right, buckle up. 30 minutes, looking up each individual piece. Okay, this one rolled 2 decks, and this one rolled armor. Wow, that's pretty good. I don't know if it's gonna sell though. Maybe like, and now you're doing these calculations for one fucking piece of gear. Oh dang it! I've listed 10 items. Now I gotta put it in my shared stash. Log onto my fucking alt. Do it again. Takes just as long. Okay, now I'm ready to queue. I just missed Goblin Caves. Now I gotta wait 3 minutes for Frost Mountain and a Ruined Castle. So you're sitting here AFK. And so all this downtime kind of blows ass. That's number one.
I agree.
This is great feedback. Keep going. This is great.
I mean, you already know this shit. I already know you do.
It's good. It's good to hear it out loud.
And I say I love this game. I still fucking play it. I love this game to death. I really do. I'm a big fantasy nerd, and to see like this is a game I really fucking like that is unique. I'm not that good at. I'm trying, and I want to see it succeed. I really do. I love the genre. Other issues, I mean, fuck, it needs a bigger player base. And I don't know how the fuck you get it. Because the queues can be a little long. The stream sniping is a little too fucking easy.
Yep.
The Timmies and all the new players are getting shit on because it's a lot of sweats overtaking not only high roller but also normals.
That's true.
And you can have Jay be like, he's a Timmy, I won't get to kill him, guys, and then he walks away. But like that's not how the rest of the game is for all the non-streamers who sweat. Jay's just he's on stream. Hey, turn the camera off a bit. Jay
I know
kills
how
his
it
ass.
is, bro. I know how it is. No.
Snaps his neck like a chicken.
Exactly. So those are like some pretty tough issues. Arena's a big fix to a lot of it. It fixes a lot of the downtime. I think the store
Takes a lot of sweats out.
Yeah, it definitely does. But then it's like, does it take too many of the sweats out? Now you can't get games. I don't know. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah.
Good thoughts. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good little rant.
To what you're saying about the play, the funny thing is, right? Like if you would, I'd just assume if you went in the game right now, there'd probably be like technically like 30,000 people playing with like 22,000 in the dungeon or something like that, right? That's pretty good these days. Like the multiplayer scene is insanely saturated with lots of little games and niche games that have maybe 5,000 players, and that's it, right? Average. And then you have maybe 20 games on top of that that have 20 to 30k concurrents. And then the next 5 to 10 games is literally just Apex, Warzone, Fortnite, World of Warcraft,
PUBG, shit like that.
You know, the MOBAs. That's it. And then Counter-Strike. And it's just like those games that have been like the gold standard for like 10 years. And so this game is actually doing pretty well in the context of all of it.
Yeah.
But when they're trying to deal with what you just said there with the Timmy situation, they've had to stratify gear so much that we now have 12 queues in the game. And in regions like OCE, you really feel it. Like when I see Jay Griffith streaming and I can hear the Mad World song with the piano music playing, and he's like looking dead inside, like trying like getting empty lobbies in HR, and he's NA with like the biggest player pop. I'm watching it going, well, what the fuck? Like if he's feeling that way, and like OCE is really quiet on certain lobbies sometimes, so that's like a big thing that they're trying to deal with. And SDF was in my stream chat the other night talking about, because he watches all the streamers in different regions. He was talking about OCE. They are doing a new matchmaking system. Like he's confirmed that. Like they are doing a new matchmaking system to help
coming
with
very
that,
soon.
But he didn't say what it was. So I know that's on their mind.
Can't talk about it, but it's coming. It's a matchmaking system that is much more robust and takes multiple data points into thought whenever it is putting you into a match. Let's just put it that way. And and hopefully it's supposed to be faster. That's all I can really say, which is essentially what they've said in previous podcasts. So I'm just regurgitating. But it's supposed to speed things up a little bit. It's supposed to make things a little bit more fair. And hopefully people will feel the effect of the new matchmaking system immediately. We'll see. We'll see.
Fuck, I hope so.
I mean, everything is test. Everything is in test mode.
They didn't put in a 3-minute box waiting for stream snipers to populate the rest. It's like, chick is so old.
Boys, we are an hour and 9 minutes in. Let's move it into Q&A. There's a bunch of people in chat that I'm sure have lots of comments, questions, a lot of shit to bitch and gripe about.
Oh, no.
A lot of stuff to maybe say nice things about. Who knows? Chat, drop your questions. What do you got for us? One Peg says, did you get your torch? Did you get your charity torch?
Yeah, Vicky came in and was like, give me your credit card. I'm like, why? She's like, there's this torch charity thing. I didn't know what was going on, but I did donate. I don't know what the charity was for, but she handled it. I got my torch.
There you go.
Apparently
there you
it's
go,
rainbow.
One
It was
You'd
St.
think I would
Jude's
know more,
Children's
but
Hospital. That was good.
that's
cause,
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Got my torch. Excellent.
Beautiful.
I think it's the only torch skin I have. I don't use any skins other than the orc and what is it? Elf, in case I go bear or cat
There
for
you go.
druid. Also, the whatever the undead ghoul like blue frost skin that Jay and everyone else seems to have, I want that, and apparently I can't get it anymore, and that's not fair. So just thought I'd
Sammy,
throw
you
that
can
out
make
there.
that happen. You can pull some strings.
Thank you.
You can make it happen.
Okay, let's see what else we got here.
All right, I got one for you. I'm
There you
curious, Soda. How would you fix Warlock?
Fuck
Just
if
from-
I know. It's a tough one. Maybe. Oh shiznit.
I'll be right back.
Let me think. How would I fix Warlock? Man, I would just delete it and start from the ground up. That self-healing has no place in solos. You don't want them to just be a glorified wizard with reskinned, like, oh, instead of fire, it's dark magic, right?
Sure.
So what the hell would you do to him?
It's the one class
I'll-
in this game, I think, that the longer the fight goes on, the more you're winning. You know what I mean?
I'll throw something both your way, right? And
Which I
not to
don't
piss
like.
off the Warlock mains out there, because I've been playing Warlock, right? I understand how crazy it can be. All right, so you got the vampiric spell, which is like you're regaining health off of someone when you cast it, Curse of Pain, right?
Mhm.
I know Power Sacrifice does it too with all the perks. So you do Curse of Pain. What if it's just a vampiric spell, or it's very low damage? You're not doing like it's not scaling an insane damage. Like you could do max 5 damage or 10 damage, and then you're getting heals. Because right now, like you saw with that Soapy clip I played, you could have scaling on it, and all of a sudden you're doing like 35 damage hits with 10 damage being drained, and you're getting health back. Like you open a fight with that, it just feels like there's nothing someone can do to you. Like in some fights,
Yeah.
do you think getting rid of just the damage off it and just have the healing would be an answer? What do you think, both of you?
Remove the initial damage or the dot damage, or both.
Or just remove that burst of like 20, 30 damage and just have the dot
So the
damage. Dot
initial.
damage and the heals. Yeah.
How would Warlock be if they removed the initial damage and got rid of Phantomize, or changed it, nerfed it in some way? See, it's barely good in trios, so now you're probably gonna have to buff them somewhere else. But where?
Well, it's pretty good in trios, just to clarify.
Okay, but if you nerf Phantomize, all right, you let's say reduce the duration, reduce the movement speed, and you remove the initial damage, you still think it's good in trios?
Probably not.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think it
but
would be good.
Here's the thing,
So
though.
what
if
do you
were to-
buff then?
If you nerfed Curse of Pain's upfront damage, right, it would open the door just to like all the other spells. Now you gotta hit like Dark Bolts. Fucking Dark Ray could be used. You know what I mean? Like it would.
Yeah,
it would
which means you
allow
actually
to
have
be,
to do. Yeah,
Which means you
other
actually have to
things.
play the game. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's fine. Different play styles. Like in a lot of ways, Warlock's not even that OP. Like you put a Bard versus a Warlock, it's not that OP. It's just fucking infuriating to fight.
Sure.
Especially as a it's just, oh, I got here. Okay, let me get their like you have to get to them twice, and the second time you get to them, you're on a timer before Phantomize is back.
It's true.
And the whole
Yeah.
time you're just rotting away. It's not fun gameplay. So changing that, I think, is the big key. And then the self-healing versus bosses, something's got to go there. Maybe reduce self-healing from PvE mobs. And maybe
a good
change
idea.
some mechanics where maybe you can't solo the Lich anymore by doing that 3-stack buff. It actually does kill you.
Well, they can solo every other boss.
Yeah, but so can Fighter can solo Warlord. So can Bard.
Sure.
That's true.
Ghost too. So it's not like only Warlock can do it at that
Sparky
point. At
Kawa,
least.
I think, just killed Warlord on Ranger solo.
There you go.
Well, there you
So
go.
Lich is the easiest, but you do need 2 or 3 people to do it. You could make it be that boss, as long as Warlock's not the only one doing this shit so fucking easily.
So do you
I think
do
reduce
boss
it-
runs and stuff? Are you a bosser?
I used to, but I
okay.
stopped. I just like PvPing now. So Goblin Caves has just been my PvP area. I'm getting my ass beat. I've lost all my money from the 2 skull keys that I got really lucky. The pulverizer we found, so it's all gone. I lost it all. And I lost
It's all gone, man.
It's all gone. I lost it to cheap fucking budget kits too, so I'm not even like spending much. I'm trying. Oh, this is a cheap kit. I just lost that much.
You got whittled down on penny slots.
I mean, fuck, it sucks because like I on stream yesterday, I literally had fights. I'm like, damn, I killed this guy and I killed that guy. This guy's got legendaries, and then some fucking leaderboard fuck comes and stabs me one time. I lose it. So it's like I really am throwing it. I'm never the one that shows up late and actually collects the loot. It's never me. And I know everyone probably says that, but I've been keeping track ever since I noticed. I'm like, it never is me. I really haven't seen it. I've been like, if it happens, I'm like, oh, finally, this is me. I'm the guy now. Why does it?
Hashtag never lucky. Hashtag never lucky, dude.
Trios is a very weird queue. No, I don't know if it's sniping or cheating. I genuinely have no clue anymore. But the amount of perfectly timed third parties is just, that shit is just terrible to deal with.
All right, so
high roller trios, by the way.
Here's an interesting question.
Jay, we queued, and I fucked up the res, granted, but immediately, you know, I'm trying to res at the statue. It took an extra 30 seconds because I'm an idiot, and I didn't know you couldn't res people without a heart. I'm a fucking Timmy at the end of the day. And I walk over to the statue, and a team comes in and kills us. I thought we did great. We wiped another geared team.
We owned them. We
did a phenomenal job from all. I missed like half my heals. It's a pretty good record for me.
You landed the clutch one that kept me alive, though. Don't forget that.
One heal was important, and I did land it. And then third partied, which I guess that's the name of the game. Yeah, that's how it goes. But it's when it happens, almost every fight, it's like, fuck, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, what's the point? I'm just burning my gear.
Yeah.
But when you're streaming, there's always that UAV online. You know what I mean?
I wish I could stream. I mean, I wish I could stream me playing the game off stream.
Saying. Yeah.
I wish I could, because you're just coping, bro. Like, no, really, it is different off stream.
Nah, you see a difference.
Yeah.
It's noticeable.
Every Dark and Darker streamer out there will tell you. I don't play offline. I don't really know, so this is like secondhand information. They all say the same thing. Game's completely different off stream.
I've played the game off stream more than I have on stream. More. I like playing the game.
I did a social experiment. Sorry to interrupt you. If you take in gear, it's all of a sudden, it's a party. If you don't have gear, they're just like the interest drops. Like oh no, see, if someone wants to Q snipe me, they can Q snipe me. If I can't, all right, here's the deal. If I just slid into Jay's DMs and I said, bro, that Nipalan, you know, the unique bow that you just got, could you just trade that with me? I want to try it out. He goes, yeah, sure, Spuddy. I take it in, I'm streaming. All of a sudden, it's just like everyone's coming out the woodwork to like chase me down in the lobby because I'd got a unique in one of the play tests and I'd never been stream sniped so hard in my life. Like it was fucking insane.
You took a unique
when you get
yeah,
if you get a unique, just remember like it's not yours anymore. It belongs to the universe. As soon as you stream, you lost possession of it.
Yep. To be fair though, in general, Spud, though, you experienced Dark and Darker differently than anyone else being fucking down under. Like you had the whole Nihao Ma era. You've had like all kinds of like dead lobbies. Like you've had all kinds of shit that you've had to go through being an Aussie with your servers. So I mean, you have a different experience. Good.
They've done a good job with that.
Okay. Good. That makes me happy.
Yeah, ever since you guys remember No Skill Bruv, right? Rank 1 solo player like last season or whatever, or the season before.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, he was cheating. He was cheating the whole time. And
really?
He told me the other week, he was like, yeah, it took me 2 hours to make a cheat that went undetected for a year straight. And that's exactly why I think ESP is going to, it makes the game unplayable.
What is ESP? What was his cheat?
I don't know what his cheat was, but ESP is like wall hacks. They can see everyone at all times. They can see the names, Which is why the amount of perfectly timed third parties is mind-blowing. It's all it is in trios. So at some points, I believe, like, I'll go like a 10-hour stream where I'm like, either everyone's sniping or everyone's cheating. And yeah, I think that's going to just severely hinder the game. I think it already has, in fact.
I mean, that the devs have said many times, it is a constant, eternal battle Iron Mace versus
Yeah.
the horde of cheaters, and it's like, and you know,
You know
they've
what they need?
Hmm.
They need Counter-Strike, Overwatch. You know, give us the replays. You know, get us the what's the league one where you can review the footage and pass judgment. They need
Oh,
they
find
need a
cheaters?
replay system. Yeah, they need a replay system. I think.
I would love to do that. I think I can tell when someone's cheating for sure. I didn't even know what the fuck ESP was. I didn't know that was one of the cheats.
Well, when Johnny's over here wearing full legendaries and he's just staring at the wall and he's just looking this way and that way. You're
okay.
like, buddy's
Yeah.
looking at a wall. It's like, you know.
He could be hitting a joint
we'll
or
never
getting
know.
a scoop of food in. You never know. Doesn't have to be
Yeah,
cheating.
until
Not
you
to go
until
Hitting the
you
hot
tangent.
pocket real
flip
quick.
the names on and he's just tracking the guy through the wall 4 modules away. And you're like, okay. Yeah.
Not to go full tangent, but it's going to get worse because now we have AI. And I saw this documentary. I'm not going to say the brand because I've forgotten the brand of monitors. But there's in the last 6 months, a monitor came out where it literally has a box come up on your screen. It's all hardware based off the monitor itself. It tracks movement on your screen. So you could calibrate this monitor to put like a green box on your screen of like a couple pixels moving. I know it sounds like a big deal, but imagine you're playing Dark and Darker and it's like a really dark map and a box comes up on your screen going, there's movement here on the top left. And you get these little boxes showing movement on your screen. And that goes a long way from like, you could have a couple milliseconds where you might have been caught off guard by something moving on your right. And it immediately goes, it flashes on your screen. You've got movement here. So AI with hardware is just going to make it even harder with all the weird shit that they're going to keep introducing. That's like borderline, like pay to win hardware.
You know, it's
Like, you're saying
crazy.
like a,
Oh, go ahead, Soda.
Yeah.
let me just, so I understand what you're saying. Like when you get shot in Call of Duty and like you're shot from the left, so the left side of the screen turns red.
Yeah.
Are you referring to like that? But like,
it's kind of like that. Yeah.
so like a subtle footstep is heard that you wouldn't hear even with headphones because it's so far away and so subtle. The
Yeah.
game AI will tell you.
Well,
like an add-on?
the hardware would. Yeah.
That fucking
Like
sucks.
basically, the software wouldn't be able to tell. I reckon
It's a
if you're
monitor
really
with
interested
built-in wall
after stream-
hack.
Yeah,
kinda.
basically, think of it like a monitor with wall hacks, but it's not actually seeing through
Oh.
in-game walls. It's like it's using
Oh.
Just
every bit
tracking
of
the
data
pixels.
it can
I hate
to
that.
predict something that would help you, if that makes sense.
I saw another
That's
crazy
fucked up.
thing. I saw a clip of one of the dudes that is hooked up to Elon Musk's Neuralink, and it was like a clip on Reddit of him talking about video games and when he plays, because the guy's paralyzed from the neck down. He says whenever he plays games with Neuralink, it's like he has aim hack. He can destroy everyone because he's just like playing with his fucking brain. And he says that
Yeah,
it's
I
gonna.
did that.
And, oh, wait, what the fuck?
I
Imagine
like you
just like,
reenacting it, but you're right.
you like that? I'm,
Yeah, it was that's
It's
what
my
made me
it's my
laugh. It was
cosplay.
it was the you role playing in his position. I didn't mean to laugh at the disability. It was him doing the.
I'm just-
now
I'm-
one with the Neuralink.
I was just experiencing.
I mean, but you're right. Like that could be kind of overpowered. He's got a point.
Oh yeah.
It's very overpowered. He says he shits on everybody that he plays against. He's got the guy is essentially hacking. I don't know why I cosplayed that. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, but yeah, how crazy is that? That's fucking insane.
I mean, like, you wouldn't have to do any aim training bullshit. They just fucking.
You look at it.
You just
Yeah.
look at it. Motherfucker's dead. That's a headshot. Dead. So
Insane.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be. You said he's doing that now in what game?
I can't remember what game it was, but he
have
says he
no
plays
idea.
like a couple shooters, and that he also said he plays Civilization. He's like, I'm paralyzed, so I'm laying around a lot, so I play like Civilization, where it's like a one more turn game. Like 20 hours later, I'm still in the same position. Go figure. I'll play a game like Civ. But he says when he does play a game like a shooter, he says it's not even fair. He says it's like he's cheating, but he's not because he's not using
he
a
is
cheat.
cheating.
But he is, yeah,
He's like a cyborg.
pretty
he's
much.
cheating.
Yeah, pretty much.
Old for cyborg.
But imagine, eventually Neuralink is going to be available to all consumers. Anyone's going to be able to go get this fucking surgery and then be a god at Counter-Strike.
Listen, it's not in our lifetime. I don't think that's
You don't
any
think
time
so?
in the next decade. And in
Okay.
20 years, I'll be like, back in my day, we like the old school style of keyboard and mouse. I'm looking forward to the nursing homes. I think we're gonna have a good time when we're older. I think our nursing homes are actually gonna be sick. We're gonna have like a PC room.
VR
I think
chat.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be VR chat.
Throwing it out there.
Yep.
VR sucks. That's too much effort, especially when we're in retirement homes.
It's gonna be like the next
But-
level of VR chat. Though I've seen you stream VR chat, Soda. It's pretty fun, right? Like back in the day.
No.
Well,
VR
okay,
chat
when
is
you
not
have
fun.
20,000 people watching and you get some fucking creepy weirdos that try to like insert themselves into what you're doing in VR chat, I can see that. But if it's you and 30
absolutely.
other geriatrics at Sunny
The only-
Hills, retirement home, and you guys are all in VR chat together, there's no stream snipers, and you got Cat Girl over here, you got Superman over here, I'm fucking Pokey, and he's Gumby. You're having a good time. I think that's okay. That sounds fun.
You, especially like during COVID, VR chat parties were pretty fun.
Sure.
With that being said, no one in there is happy. It is a terrible cesspool of really just not really well in life people. But it's great. I have a blast. I haven't been there in a long time. I don't plan on going back. I think VR in general, give up. That's how I feel about VR.
Oh shit. Okay. Fair enough.
I think it's got a long time to go.
Yeah, I don't have a headset either. I don't think it's ready either. So okay, speaking of like VR chat rooms, obviously right now there's the like meeting hall, the gathering hall in game where you can like find people to play with, and it's just a chat room, and there's typically like 11 people, and then they're all trying to sell gold from China, which sucks.
Yep.
Eventually though, it was announced on I think it was One Pegs or maybe this podcast, but Terry and STF talked about how eventually you're going to be able to just have like your own tavern, and like so when you go to the gathering hall, when you click like US West Gathering Hall, instead of going into a chat room, you actually go into a tavern with other players, and there's going to be VoIP and like target dummies and stuff like that. Do you think that people are going to actually use the gathering hall and try to make Dark and Darker a more social game with like that kind of social space stuff? Do you think it's a waste of time? What do you guys think about that? I think it's cool. I think some people will like
it's
it.
dead.
Okay, imagine you could sit down at a table
Yes.
in the tavern and like play dice or something and wager your
Jay
gold and shit.
is right.
Yeah.
Add an actual social
Minigame.
gambling mechanic. All right. And if people try to cancel you because gambling's bad, ignore that. It's fine in Dark and Darker. I think y'all
It's
send that
gold.
shit. It's gold. It's in game. Gamble it. That could get the social world going a bit more. But if you just added a hub, it's VoIP. No streamers are going there because it's just gonna be
Sure.
like
M-bomb.
the
Yeah.
best that, and you're just getting like some YouTuber who's like,
Yeah.
I'm a bard. Listen to me play my song.
Yeah.
And you'll get that a little bit, but everyone else, no.
It's
gonna be a
also
nuisance.
it's important
But
to note
you
that
add gambling, now it's a play.
you add gambling though, it completely changes the rating of the game. There's like a lot of laws attached to that kind of shit. Even if it's not real life money, and it's just in-game currency like gold, it changes everything in terms of like rating and all that stuff,
They
which is
already
so
said that's a
dumb, right?
no-go anyways.
Why?
Because of
You're
laws.
also not allowed.
What law?
South
What
Korea,
defense shows?
I assume
All right.
South Korea has strong laws on it. Maybe I don't know.
How much money do we have at Iron Mace? Because we could lobby some people. We could get some laws changed. All right. Because if you added blackjack in that motherfucker, that'd be phenomenal. I'd love it. I'd
You
go in
can't
there.
even gamble items, by the way. Like, there's Cam Soda. Surely you've heard of him.
Who? Cam?
Cam Soda. He got.
Okay. Yeah.
He got, I think, his wrist slapped by Iron Mace because he does a lot of like coin flips for gold chests and skull keys and stuff. He got his wrist slapped like 2 days
really?
ago, and Grayson has said specifically you are not allowed to gamble for in-game items,
No shit.
What?
even though they
the
added a
heck?
coin flip emote. Sick bastards.
That's ridiculous.
I didn't even know that.
It does feel bad. It feels bad.
Yeah, we got to figure something out. You make it happen because, I mean, maybe make y'all like create a new blackjack. It's not blackjack. Maybe it's like,
Or just don't
Like
make it a competitive minigame that doesn't have gambling. Like that's simple as that.
You win something.
I'm going to play dragon
Item.
chess against you, Soda, in the tavern. We play chess sitting down on the tavern or something like that. I feel like that kind of
Okay.
shit could be cool.
Yeah, Dark Jack.
Or what about this?
There you go.
Add to it.
What if under the tavern, in the basement where there's the target dummies that you can smack?
Yeah.
What if below that there was like a dueling pit, and you could actually just duel people?
That
And
could be cool
like
too.
WoW style, where like when you hit 1 HP, you bend down and beg for your
Y'all
life.
The
could have
action
a-
numbers, yeah.
What?
If you add enough stupid fun things, like like in the arcades, you have that glove that you like punch really hard to test. What if every day you just have like one of those? Who can hit it the hardest? It counts as a headshot, and just have their name. It's just stupid. Just
I think
stupid
shit
fun
like that
things
could be
that.
cool. Yeah, imagine like players.
Why are you laughing?
It just sounds so fucking goofy.
Yeah, it's goofy shit. Goofy shit.
People
if
like
you have
goofy
enough
shit.
goofy things, like, and if it can't be competitive, like, or not competitive, like gambling, then yeah, I guess just goofy shit. Chess. I don't know what else you'd add. Gwent. You probably get sued.
Definitely not Gwen. Yeah. Let's just throw Hearthstone in there too. Fuck it. Yeah. What's a good
Get some
Nexon game?
Peggle.
Let's throw a Nexon game in there.
I'll see how that plays.
Yeah.
I think the tavern could be cool, but definitely get rid of the inspecting lobby in between actual queues too. That's miserable. I hate that, especially as a druid main. Everyone knows I'm strength, and then I go bear, and then everyone's scared because they know I have strength. That sucks too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the devs have
so-
stated that whenever you're queuing up for a match, the new system is not going to put you into a tavern where you can inspect. It's just going to throw you in the dungeon. And then if you want to go to a tavern, that's going to be like the gathering hall kind of a thing. Or imagine like a future where like a player can open up their own tavern lobby that people from their friends list can join or something like that. And it's their tavern or something like that. I think that'd be amazing. I would love that. I would like to, if I could have buddies come into my tavern and we could queue up together and form a party in the tavern and queue up from the tavern and not have to leave the tavern and go to the main menu. I think that'd be super cool. I would start up a tavern all
I
the time.
agree.
Yeah.
You better link me your logs. You better have X gear score. You know how that goes.
Hey, if we go far enough in the future, link your arena rating.
Yep.
Who knows?
All right, more questions.
man,
What else
we're
we
gonna-
got?
It's gonna turn just like WoW. I'm not playing with you with that arena rating. Get higher rated scrub. Like, oh Jesus.
But I really do hope so, though. I really
Yeah.
hope.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Phantom Maoyu says Soma guilds win. Okay, guilds. Just let's talk guilds for a second. Obviously we talked about arena mode, how it could be really exciting, but I want some Guild Wars shit. I want to be able to go into a match with like 7 or 8 or 9 guildies and go up against 10 other fucking people in a guild in a big battle or something like that. I think that'd be
You
so
want like
fucking
a
fun.
7v7 or 10v10
Sure.
arena?
Or like a Guild War thing, like not necessarily in
Yeah.
arena mode, but like some sort of like Guild Wars kind of a thing. I think that'd be sick.
But at the end, it is a 10v10, whatever the
Or
shape
whatever.
is.
I just threw out a random amount of players. It could be
Okay.
5v5, 20v20, 3v3, who knows. But like some sort of like sanctioned Guild Wars thing that has, I don't know, some cool carrot on the end of that stick that helps you get like a better reinforced guild hall or better banners that hang down from the ceiling of your guild hall and in the drinking hall or something like that. That kind of shit would be so fucking cool.
I agree. Y'all could do some cool ass shit with guilds.
Yeah.
So many different game modes y'all could fucking own with.
ARAM, I know.
Yeah.
Maybe not the ARAM mode.
ARAM.
Not the
Like-
ARAM mode.
I mean, like,
Sorry,
don't
go
write it
ahead.
off. Who knows? Like 2 years from now, it could be great. Go on. All right. Sorry. Don't write it off.
No, it's a delay. I'm like 200 ms in my brain as well. No, I was going to say like event queues on weekends, like is something I always thought they could tease with, because when I was watching people snipe streamers to do the Wyvern, like seeing like 12 dudes all like, it looked like a war zone with
It was
that.
epic.
Yeah, it's epic. And people, I know you when SodaPoppin was saying like Dark and Darker can be boring to watch. That wasn't boring to watch. That was fun. It's always hilarious watching a massive group get wiped by the Wyvern. That shit is
Absolutely.
fucking hilarious. So if they can find out a way to not split up the player base, but do like event queues where like, oh, maybe once every fortnight this weekend, there's going to be a queue that's open where you can group up in multiple parties and go at it with some BS thing. Maybe even like a dungeon boss event where it's like 3 parties can queue up together to take on a boss or take on each other, like you guys were talking about guilds. I think I'm just saying like that's something they're definitely going to do in the future if the player base numbers warrant it. Because that stuff goes hard. Like just watching the Wyvern was always fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many things possible if the player base just gets higher.
Soda,
So
were
many
you
things.
a big raider in WoW or mostly PvP arena?
Mostly PvP, but I've raided. I mean, I did it.
What do you think about raids in Dark and Darker? Does it have a future? Like you going with, I don't know, like 6 folks and you try to take down a really super hard boss?
I think that, oh shit, wait, now you think about it. If you queue up and it's just purely a fight, Skippy, get out of that trash can. Sorry. Anyways, if you go in and it's like you just queue up for a big PvE fight and it's got some tough mechanics,
Right.
yeah, I think there is a place. But now we're thinking about the UI, because now you're going in with more than 3 people, and you know the little UI in the bottom left corner of the teammates' health bars. Think about that being 10, right? So some major UI changes would have to happen. Fuck, it'd be hard, but it could be sick. You know, if the mechanic, like, because I look at all the bosses in the game right now, they're not hard. If you look at the mechanics, and I guess you sacrifice a couple of kits to figure it out, it's not too hard to figure it out. And especially if you could just queue up and be at the boss right there, they've got to be more complicated than the current bosses.
Well, sure. What if you had to like fight some like really, really hardcore trash? For instance, if you go down to like HR Isobis, most players would agree that you can't just all split in your trios and go take a different path and fight all the enemies. You typically have to pull slowly, especially if you're not like a top 1% player group. You have to be very careful with your pulls in Abyss. Imagine imagine that sort of format where you have to be very careful and methodical with your pulls, what you're fighting and when, stuff like that. I think that could be really fun. Like think like a really hard WoW dungeon with pulls and stuff, CCing stuff.
Sure, but how do you, in the current Dark and Darker game, it's like you just don't want to get hit by the PvE at all. How does that function with 8 people standing there? Do you have a massive Onyxia-sized dragon? How do you...
I don't know. Waves of death skulls.
It's a swarm of death skulls. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this isn't a tab targeting MMO. This is like, you know, you get hit once, you lose, what, 2/3 of your health or whatever. Okay, you're down a cleric spell now. I guess, do you just rotate people in over and over and just lose all your fucking spells? Are they dodgeable? If they are, like, I don't know. It's a weird first-person game.
And what would a raid size even be? Would it just be like you just shove 2 trios together and it's 6? Like, I don't even know. I know that I want it. I just don't know how it would come to be.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. That's where I'm at. You know, and then I start putting, I'm not a dev, but you put on like the dev brain of actually things like, okay, but now the UI is going to be a little iffy. How do like you actually tank in this game? And then you tend like the hallways are already like too fucking crowded with 3, right? So what happens when you have 6 at the lower end that you're thinking, or 10? It just gets weird. Yeah. So how to actually do it, I don't know. But should it be done? Fuck yeah. Same with Arena. Do it all. Get to work. Make it happen. I would love it.
All right, let's take like 2 or 3 more, and then we'll call. We're already over 90 minutes. And I told Soda this was only a 90-minute podcast.
I mean, I'm not doing anything today, but again.
Okay. A couple more, 2 or 3 more.
Sure.
Let's see. What do you got? You got anything in your chat, Jay? What you got?
No, I'm looking.
Give me something good, chat.
Is it almost insulting if there are questions you guys just aren't reading them, basically telling them like, hey, your question sucked. I'm not even going to read it.
They're used to it.
They're used to it.
That's true.
Okay, Augustin. Augustin's got a good one. Is the game 2 range dominated? Which this has been a topic that's been, you know, talked about many times over the course of this game, but it has not been chatted about recently. Is the game 2 ranged dominated? I don't think it's as bad as it used to be.
Yes.
I think the throwing weapons change.
No, it's not as bad as it used to be.
The throwing weapons change helped a lot, where it takes longer to equip a single stack axe or throwing knife or whatever. I think that's a good change.
It's much better because Barbarian and Ranger have been reeled in. Those 2 classes have been like pulled right back in, because before it was friggin' insane with those 2 what they could do for like damage and range, right? Mid-range, long range, whatever. Warlock, and I would even argue in a weird way, Cleric, you know, with its, you know, clasping their fists. Not like ranged, like, you know, because like let me finish.
Okay.
They open up a fight with that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's technically mid-range when you're only like 10 feet. They do that.
It's a
I'm not
zoning
saying
spell.
nerf it, bring it to the ground. Yeah, it's a zoning spell, but like the classes that can do that before you get into close range with someone's always going to have that what I would consider that edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say it's still strong because of Warlock and Cleric, and I guess Bard when they've got their buffs from all their tunes and they've got a survival bow. Holy shit, you want to run away? They're like in the solo queues. Like it's really hard to close the gap on those dudes.
How do
So,
you fix?
yeah.
I think movement being king is not good. I mean, it should be good, and maybe it should be king, but it's like it's a tyrant right now. It is bad. Like these light foot boots are like the most expensive thing, and it just rolls movement, and it's just like I shouldn't. Your upgrade should be more noticeable. I guess you do notice the movement, but like fuck, it's so boring. You know, when you're gearing up and like, look at my movement speed, dude. Like, I think that's boring as dirt. And then the gameplay is just pelting people with shitty survival bows, just staying 5 feet apart, never committing. And Warlock, same thing, just run away and I'm too fast. Tough shit. That's pretty miserable, in my opinion. I don't
Well, you
like
can't
it.
get hit. Sorry, you don't need like crazy HP stacking and all that stuff if you can't get hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
And it obviously feels miserable as like a fight. Well, I guess fighters can have bows, but as a bear druid, it feels kind of miserable. I actually can't hit anything if they just walk, literally just walk the whole time. I actually can't hit you. There's nothing I can do unless I get you cornered in a wall. But like even Barbarian, I guess Francesca axes, there are some answers, but I don't know.
Do you think swinging a melee weapon or swinging your bear paw, the slowdown, the movement speed debuff you get for that animation is just bad across the board for most melee weapons? Because I think so. I think it's a little bit too punishing.
It feels pretty impossible to land a right click, but you can do some clutch shit. You can do the fucking panther leap into chicken, into bear, and land on them, and then I land right on top of them, right there, and then they just walk away. And I don't hit them. And I even stack decks. I stack decks at this point to make it go off quicker, and they're still gone. So I don't know what to do. It's just what do you do?
I do think the range is crazy though, because you gotta break it down. Like, okay, so wizards are meleeing, and barbarians and rogues and bards and fighters. They're not meleeing. They're just ranging you. So it's like, why are the range classes meleeing and then the melee class is ranging? That should always drove me nuts, Sam.
Yeah.
It pisses me the fuck off when I'm trying to fight a rogue and he just throws 12 knives at me. It's like, bro, you're playing a melee class. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How do you fix that?
Maybe bows should be on rangers, and yeah.
So just take bows away from everyone but rangers for the most part. Or maybe
then Weapon Master is broken then at that point.
Nerf the fuck out of bows and stuff, and maybe buff it for rangers or some perks that make it viable. I don't know. Like maybe Bard survival bow should be doing like way less. I don't know.
Maybe range options should just be way lower on damage, personally.
Okay.
Just for starters.
And maybe longer reload time.
I thought that it'd be really cool if you draw
a ranger, sure.
If you draw a bow back and you hold it for longer than a couple seconds, it starts to shake because you're holding the bow too long. Something like that, I think, could help. So people aren't holding shots for so long. You have to be a little bit better with your.
I would. Hey,
yeah. Like,
I don't know.
Did anyone ever play Thief?
Yeah, it was a terrible game.
No, the old school Thief from the 90s, not Thief 4. That's fucking garbage.
That was really bad.
Really? Did you play 1998? Did you play 1998 Thief?
I wasn't even born. I was born, but like, I was 4. No, I didn't play that.
I'm only a couple years older than you. I played it when I was like 8. It was one of those games I grew up on. But it's just a reference for people in chat. It's probably a bit too boomer shooter, but like essentially, if you held a bow for more than probably like 3 seconds, you would start to like make grunting noises and like it would sway. So it would give sound cues to like opponents that you're holding an angle as well. If that makes sense. I know that sounds silly.
I liked it.
But
I think it's cool.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great, but I don't know if that would change the survival bow of 1,000 arrows. I don't think that.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
And that's kind of what everyone's doing. A longer reload time, but it's a buff to rangers. I feel like rangers are like worse at being a ranger than the other range people that can use a bow. That's kind of how I feel about range. Unless you do that win-last bullshit, and then you're just an op, and that's how you have to kind of do it. I don't think that's how it should be. That's just me.
People are saying, you know, that's actually not a fix. It's kind of a non-issue. I don't know. I think people do hold corners and do hold their bows, but it's not, you know, so terrible that it's affecting the game in a massive way, for sure. But I think that it's going to take multiple, maybe minor little changes like that to achieve a goal where it feels a little bit better. Not necessarily some massive fucking crazy nerf that strikes down from the heavens that changes everything, right?
Where the fuck are quivers?
Dude, I don't know. Good
They're
question.
supposed to be out like a year ago.
I know. Wands were too. Wands and
Wands were in
quivers.
the initial trailer of the game as of 2 years ago.
I know. It's I don't know.
Like,
where
you
they're at.
don't play ranger to get loot. Let's put it that way, because a good ranger now has to take in at least like 4 to 6 traps and about 50 arrows, and your inventory is just juiced up with just crap that you can't fill
sucks.
now.
My girlfriend quit the game because she's like, I can't loot anything. And then I'm like, I'm not looting because I'm sitting there resting from my heals back the whole time because Lakari, my other trio partner, keeps getting fucking hit by PvE. So I'm sitting and resting. She can't loot anything because she has fucking arrows. And Lakari doesn't know what the fuck's going on. He's just getting hit. It was a terrible time. And it all stemmed down from not having a quiver. So I don't know. It would be great. I think Rangers would be very... Honestly, everyone that uses a bow would be happy. But then fuck them all over and make the reload time way longer and less arrows, except for Ranger, because Ranger should be better than the others at that.
The lead dev said they were like, when they redesigning the whole inventory system, because it was based, they coded it for a different intention, and then the game evolved, and now they're like, well, we got to redesign it. So I'm pretty sure, like they said 6 months ago, they're redesigning it, but when that comes to fruition, I don't know. Because originally they were supposed to have backpacks and like a weight system.
Oh.
Because if you look at the bottom of the inventory, there's these 2 little like empty spaces that look like are indented, if that makes sense, like embossed.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
little satchels or
you know,
something.
like it's just an old system. Sorry.
I'm laughing because I'm picturing in my head like this Ranger who has this backpack full of tons of loot. He just got done getting the treasure hold, tons of epic jewelry, and I'm running at this guy, but his weight is too high, so he's slow as fuck. So he's just, I hear the dinging sound of jewels being dropped as he runs away, just throwing shit out of his bags. Like, fuck, I'm so slow. I mean, that would just be even, that's fuck. At that point, they don't want quiver. They'd hate that system.
Oh yeah,
Fuck
no,
weight
they're not doing a weight system because it was
That would suck.
they worked out the hard way that you would be punished for basically looting. So what you do is you just camp extracts, you know, like
Nobody
target.
wants that shit.
So, nah, no one. It's shit.
It'd be so funny for a day. I'd love it. It'd be so slow.
So Nexy29 asks, any plans for collabs with in-game content? So he's thinking like whenever Fortnite has like a Marvel skin or something like that, or you know, the Terminator is a playable character or some shit.
Oh god.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a future where there's like a ring wraith
Give us the
fucking
Booba Cat Girl
skin?
skins before we get too crazy.
Agreed.
I actually, when I was before I even worked at Iron Mace, I was thinking to myself like, what could be some cool marketing collabs? I was actually thinking about that very question. No shit, like 3 months ago. And one of the ideas I had was like, what if you teamed up with like Critical Role and Matt Mercer, and you were able to take his custom class he made for D&D called the Blood Hunter, and actually do like a big deal where you actually make Blood Hunter an official class in the game. Or something like that, like some big marketing campaign with Critical Role, or you do like a campaign.
God,
with
Wizards of the Coast would love that.
shit like that, or teaming up with Wizards of the Coast, or teaming up with the Lord of the Rings guys, or George R. Martin, and having like a fucking mountain skin or something like that. I think that kind of stuff later on in the game, when it's a 1.0 more feature complete game, actually sounds cool.
Like a full on. I mean, usually the collabs like that aren't like, hey, we're making an entire class.
I know.
It's more like, hey, we've got a special boss fight.
That's right.
Or maybe like a theme of some sort, and you do, you know, another collab a month later, rather than one every 2 years or whatever. I don't know how long it would take to make a class, but hey, it'd be cool. I'd love it.
I don't
know what the hell a Blood Hunter would do. Probably be OP, and I'd probably whine about it, but sounds like it already been busted. It's fucking pissed me off.
All right, let's take one more good question. Let's go with one more good one.
Pressure's on.
Let's see here. Chances of unarmed.
You definitely could do like you could do like Halloween special raid boss fights. Like maybe you take.
Where's my headless horseman, man? Roaming boss.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, you get him. Or get
Headless
one of those
Horseman
death
in
skulls,
runes?
but change it to like this big jack-o'-lantern skin. Just a big
Maybe a little
stupid boss
Santa
fight.
hat.
Ooh, that's a good idea. A flying jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Headless Horseman patrolling the ruins, shit like that. I would love that. That sounds cool. Or what if like a Halloween event, like like when you're in the crypts, the Ghost King makes appearances and he's like haunting the crypts and you see him like come out of a wall and scare you, and I don't know, that kind of shit could be cool. It's kind of a nothing,
I
whatever
think,
though. But yeah.
I think I was watching some podcast or something. Someone linked me something where it was a dev talk, and they were talking about having like the Butcher kind of random bosses that can just spawn in and fuck people up. Just cool changes to the map that can drastically change how you're gonna play it. Do we have any idea when that kind of shit's gonna happen? If it is,
someone
No.
was asking about roaming bosses and like in-match, in-game NPCs and stuff like that. I don't think it's on the radar right now, but I think that SDF and Terrence have said in podcasts that they think the idea of that is extremely cool and is something that they would like to see.
yeah.
Like I personally, we've talked about this many times on the podcast, I would love to see a labyrinth map with a roaming minotaur that is essentially, think like Nemesis when you're playing Resident Evil. Like, good luck killing that motherfucker, but you can definitely run away. And I think that would be super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would play the fuck out of a
agree.
labyrinth map. Yeah. Shit like that would be sick.
I mean, because right now it's sort of you spawn in. Okay, we spawned here. I know there's a spawn point to the right over there, and there's one to the left over here. Okay, let's run this way, and you just zug. You see if there's a team. Okay, no team. And you got to add some curveballs in there, in my opinion. There's got to be something that's like, oh shit, okay, hey, we're gonna do this a little differently this time.
Right.
I don't know what they
like
can be.
even the PVE is pretty much static, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, there's not much
It
variety in
is.
the PVE.
It is.
Yeah.
So whatever
Where's
can
spawn?
change it up.
Roaming bosses, loot fucking goblins, dude. It's just such free, easy
Loot
content, I feel
goblins would
like.
be huge. Yeah, as a
Soda,
person that has no idea how to code, yeah, just may add loot goblins. It can't be that hard.
I think loot goblins would be fun. Soda, which environment would you like to see in the game? Obviously, we have ruins, we have crypts, we have goblin caves, we have ice caverns, we have hell. Where would you like to go as an adventurer that likes fantasy?
Scrap the water bullshit. I don't think anyone wants that. But maybe do something like, fuck, all the cold shit is stupid. Like maybe expand on the library. You could do some cool library theme type shit. So like the library in crypts, but make it way like the entire map is this massive
Great
library cathedral. Yeah, the Great Library. You could do something with that maybe. I
Interesting.
would love outside stuff, but we know how ruins goes with outside. It can get pretty abused and fucky wucky.
What about a wizard tower instead of a library or something like that? Yeah.
Wizard Tower could be cool.
Someone
Shit,
said like a
it's-
Hogwarts-esque map. That actually, like a shifting castle, like, you know, in Hogwarts, like
That'd be cool.
stairwells don't always go to the same place.
Yes.
That sounds fucking amazing. I actually love that.
Yes, and that adds that change up.
That's a
that we're
sick
talking
idea.
about.
That's a sick idea. I like that.
So anything that, I mean, maybe like you cross a bridge and you're like running from a team and you're like, fuck, I hope this bridge shifts in the next 30 seconds because this team's chasing you. And then it does. That would be sick. Or maybe you run and the team of 3 are like, fuck, we don't want to chase because what if we get split because it shifts right when one of us jumps over? Like, it's a risk. It's things like that could be cool.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'd be super fun.
So
All right, we'll leave
That's
you
the
with
kind of
one final question. Soda, if you had the reins for the day at Iron Mason, you got to make a big decision about the game, sort of put the next thing in the game that you want, what would that be?
okay. Oh fuck, arena.
Okay,
Like if I had one thing,
sweet.
I would add arena. Like I would love the PvP instantly, but God, and then man, next on the list, fix the fucking market, make it to where it's easier to sell things, and then third on the list, fucking butcher warlocks and put them in the dirt. at least for a while. Then you can buff them again to where they're viable, but they deserve dirt time for sure. What else?
Dirt
Clerics
time.
as well. They do. They really do. Man, and all the oh fuck. Man, why is Druid only bear or cat form? I mean, I get it.
For
it's
now, I mean,
shapeshifter,
they've talked about gorilla forms coming. There's gonna be other animal forms.
I mean, why can't you like also be a caster build? And you have bear form for utility. Like, oh shit, I got zugged by. I'm gonna go bear form. It's my next
That's
best
what I
decision.
want.
It's a defensive spell.
I want 10
Oh,
spell
and then,
druid or 5 spell druid
Yeah.
with another skill instead of shapeshifting.
The only viable caster druid right now is abusing the spirit bond bullshit, and that's just
true.
AFKing. When you get hit or when your teammate gets hit, you just sack some of your health to reduce it. It's kind of boring. I would like to see a more caster druid or even more healers. Cleric being the only good viable healer role, I think, is not good.
Druid's
I think there
pretty
should
decent
be
healer.
multiple healing plays.
Druid's pretty decent.
Decent.
It's not
But
better than cleric
when you play
overall.
trios,
It's not 80 health in a single cast. So.
Yeah.
when you play
Instantly.
druid, you're not like, I'm the healer of the group. No, you're cat druid who ambushes and I can heal every now and then a little bit, or you're bear druid, or you're the spirit bond druid where you just sack your health for teammates. I would love to see an actual caster druid viable build.
Yeah.
Just say
I
you
like
want the
that.
boomkin, bro. Where's the fucking
Yeah,
boomkin?
I fucking love it. But also resto druid. Like I'm actually
Yep.
just a full on healer, like a regrowth. I feel like because you do need that initial burst heals, but then you have a lot of heals over time. So you do more healing output with your spells, but it's not as instant as clerics say. Unless you need to, you can choose to spam regrowth, but you're not going to do as much healing per second as a cleric.
Have you tried Dreamfire healing with Nature's Touch?
It's trash, man, and it's
It's not
self-healing.
bad. It's not.
I guess,
it
okay,
heals
but, like,
anyone
in
that has it on
reality-
you. Anyone that you Nature's Touch.
You're right.
Dreamfire will.
But in reality, of an actual 3v3 fight, you're not playing it and winning with it.
I do.
If the
It
other,
works.
if
It
the
works.
other, if because you outplay the other team, but if both teams are the same skill level, I'm taking the cleric healer. If there's strict healer roles,
That's
see what
true.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like there should be good comps where your healer is a druid, and it's actually better to have a druid than a cleric as a strict healer. I would love to see things like that. And I don't know what other kind of healers you'd want. You got heal over time. You have, direct healing like cleric. Do you want to have an absorb healer? Because I feel like that'd be too OP in the type of game this is.
Or someone that when they deal damage, a small heal, hits an enemy, or hits a teammate. So like I shoot someone with a spell, and if it connects, someone in my team that's close to me gets a heal or something like that.
Yeah, maybe there's a build for that, but I mean that would obviously be a terrible class in solos. I feel like.
Sure.
So, but you'd have to like maybe when the talent system gets actually built in, you can spec for that, and then it actually is viable.
Yeah, that's
what is the deal on talent system,
dude? So subclassing or like a more robust progression path for classes is the number. I asked you the question, if you were in charge today and you could choose one thing to do in the game, what would you pick? I would pick subclassing. That's what I want more than anything. I think it directly will lead to a massive amount of, first of all, retention. People will just play the game way more, which means we're always going to have a fuck ton of people in the dungeon. And in terms of just having a ton of different options and being able to re-roll a class multiple times to try the same. Maybe you have like 4 different warlocks because there's so many different builds with the subclassing. That's just one class. And I think if you can build a system like that, it's going to change Dark and Darker forever in a good way. And I think it's going to be, if it happens, and I hope it does, I think it's going to be something that, I don't want to say saves the game, but it'll give the game really long legs so that it lasts much longer than just the base classes.
Okay, let me ask you this. So, what is it again? It's what is Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate? She's a cleric, but she's a subclass of it. What is it? Thief cleric? Fucking what is she again?
I have no idea.
It's a
I know the
subclass
domain.
of cleric that is trash. No one uses it. Everyone respects her.
Trickery.
Trickster.
Yeah, trickery
so give
domain.
me trickery
Yeah.
domain.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what that would look like.
Okay, so imagine you're a wizard and you hit level 20 and you unlock subclassing, and you have 2 options. You can be like an evocation wizard that specializes in like the elements, or a necromancer, and now suddenly you can start raising shit in the dungeon from the dead. You have like a bone spear that pierces everything, stuff like that, and suddenly you have different kinds of play styles with shit like that. Or let's say it's
So you gain new spells to your spell wheel as a warlock because of the subclass you chose?
So as you go in my head, and I don't actually know what the plan is because there's no subclassing right now in the game, right? But in my head, the way I envision it and how I would like to see it manifest in real life would be as you're going down the subclass trees, and let's say there's several branches, right? As you go deeper down a branch, maybe you can unlock a perk. And if you go all the way down a certain branch, maybe you unlock a new skill or spell or active ability. But if you decide to go a little hybrid, maybe you unlock 2 perks instead because you went down multiple branches, but you never actually get to unlock that skill at the bottom. Kind of like a World of Warcraft style. I would love to see that. I hope that's what Iron Mace decides to do. And I'm being very honest when I say this right now. I don't know what the plan is. I don't. I wish I did because I want to know.
God, where do you even start with something? Like, because we're complaining all about warlocks and all the balancing right now. You introduced the talent system. Now it's like you're kind of removing everyone's perks from every class and you're shoving them into a talent system. And a lot of those perks aren't going to be able to be used with other ones at this point, right? So it's a complete uphaul of the balancing.
No, I don't think it's a complete upheaval because if you are going to have your regular perks and abilities, just like the game currently is, except now when you hit level 20, you hit level 20.
You want new perks added in.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So like the game is how it is.
Perks and talent perks.
So the way I envision it is the game is exactly like how it is right now. But when you hit level 20, now it means something. Now I get access to a subclass, and let's say each subclass has like 20 points or something like that, right? So as you're leveling up, you're getting a point per level, and the level cap's like 40. Maybe it's 30 points, and it's 50. Who knows? As you're going down those trees, maybe you unlock a new perk, or maybe you change an existing perk or something like that. But all the original stuff in the game would still be there right now as base. So maybe the subclassing would change a certain perk, introduce a new spell that you can put on your spell wheel. But I don't think it would completely shift and change the rest of the game.
Okay.
It would just be adding more to the kit in a specific way that you could build to.
In my head, when you said like you're gonna have to pick between perks in the talent system, I thought you meant remove all of the perks that they currently have, and now they're gonna be split in different sections that you can only go certain lengths.
Oh no!
No. Okay, but you have your base perks, and you're gonna have your talent tree perks. That's still adding. I guess it's
just adding a little bit extra flavor to like change your playstyle. Let's say, what would be like another cool subclass, guys?
Eldritch Knight.
Okay, Eldritch Knight. So fighter, you hit level 20, you get to pick between like a cavalier or some shit, or like a pure tank boy, gladiator.
I'm listening. I have to pee.
Go for it. Or Eldritch Knight, where suddenly now you get access to a spell wheel that has maybe max 3 or 4 spells on it. Maybe that's what you unlock when you're going down Eldritch Knight. And then you get access to, I don't know, a certain amount of spells or something like that. I think that kind of shit would be amazing for the game. Personally. I would love that. But you still get access to all the other fighter stuff. Like you could still, do a longsword build.
As long as SDF and all the devs that work on balancing, like, think things through. They can, they can vet those things. When they did multi-classing, everything was just on the table to just.
That was too crazy. Yeah,
that's too crazy.
Too
so
crazy.
As long as it's subclassing, yeah, no, you lucky you didn't, because it was the definition of.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Everyone just stacking like barbarian and fighter perks.
Just stuff like double jump. Like you could double jump as a wizard or a ranger, get onto some weird spot no one could get you, and just hail shit down on people on the door. I was cheesing the shit out of that. It was insane.
Barbarians with like spear mastery and tumble and shit and double jump.
So at least with subclassing, the devs can, hopefully they do, they will think things through with the subclasses where they go, well, this won't break the actual main class. It's just going to be a little bit of a touch, an additional touch. My only concern is, can you make reads as an opponent? You need to be able to read. That's a guy that can do these things.
I think, that's a great question. I think when you choose your subclass, some sort of visual indication should occur. If I went from being the Gandalf
Say
looking
like
wizard,
you're a necromancer,
if
you've
I
got,
yes,
like, glowing red eyes.
yeah, I decided to go necro. Well, maybe I look a little different now. Maybe my hair is like fucking like super white or something like that. I don't know.
Well, it also just depends on how much it changes. But the other thing that I think could be good with subclasses, I think a lot of people get attached to a class. Maybe I'm just me. I'm a Druid main. I've always been a Druid main. I like playing Druid. I want to change up my playstyle, but I want to keep playing Druid.
Mm-hmm.
I think subclasses are like much easier to be like, oh fuck, okay, well I'm gonna try this, right? And then
I
you
go
change
resto
to a
now.
subclass, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Rather than completely change classes, sure.
Yeah.
I think subclasses would be cool. I do think it's gonna be a massive balancing.
And here's the thing:
pain.
if subclassing in that manner is introduced to the game, it's a massive update and a massive undertaking because you can't piecemeal out subclasses. You can't just have only fighter gets one subclass as we slowly build out this new system in the game. No, you have to make sure that every class gets a subclass at the same time or the game really gets fucked. So that means you have to put a lot of resources and a lot of time into an untested system so you don't break the game. Because we're not using the test server. Like, it's pretty obvious, right? So everything is tested and live, basically.
Jay, you're looking like everything we're saying is pissing you off. What's going on?
No, I just look like that.
Okay.
I've wanted subclasses forever because I think like I play classic WoW, right? Vanilla specifically. I love Elemental Mage. You get Shatter, you get Blast Wave, I love that shit. Or you can just get Ice Barrier, or you can get whatever, I think it would add just a lot of depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck you guys, man.
I mean, the thing is, the visual cue, maybe that could be like a skill thing, like when I'm chasing a team and I've learned I've still fucked this up. I'm chasing a team. They have a rogue, right?
Yeah.
I know they have a rogue, but now it's like, I know that when we're chasing and that rogue's disappeared, I got to look behind me now. And of course I'm already dead. I'm the healer, right? And I die. So like you kind of just have to assume that, hey, this warlock has these multiple subclasses. And if I do this and they're that subclass, they fuck me. So maybe I don't do it, even if they aren't that subclass. Or maybe they're like, you just got to kind of play in a different way when you don't know. And let's say they cast a spell that reveals it. Oh, shit. Okay. Now I think I know what I'm fighting against. I think that can be part of the game. Maybe I'm stupid.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
I think you're right.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I mean, but then it also could just be really fucking boring and stupid, just constantly like, I don't want to really push in because they've got a million different things they could do.
Just kind of half-dicking it.
Just half-dicking it the whole time. That could also be a
Just the
problem.
tip
Like,
in it.
oh,
Yeah.
baiting. Just trying to bait out the spells and be like, oh, okay, now we know. That's not fun, usually.
I think
it could be.
even if there wasn't tells, at least you're like able to recognize and at least think like, okay, they have these options, I think it'd be fun. It's just more of a knowledge gap though for the game.
Which I think it should have some things like that. Just how much.
Sure.
Also just depends how much do these subclasses affect. Trickery Cleric. What the fuck would Trickery Cleric do?
It's a dumb domain, and even in D&D, like the regular
it's trash.
tabletop game, it sucks. Yeah.
I can't believe they made Shadowheart a Trickery Cleric to start. Trickery Cleric, it's insane. I don't get it.
Well, they were
Great
probably
game,
like,
game of the year.
guys, what
That's
is the worst domain? What is shit that no one ever actually touches in the real game? Let's try to make that a thing. That's probably what they were
they
thinking.
tried to buff monks too and make them OP. They're actually like the best class in the game. It's so stupid.
God, just wait for monks and fucking Dark and Darker. That's the class. I've said this many times. That's the class I'm scared of the most. If movement speed is king, and this motherfucker does not carry a weapon, and he's like wall running and shit, and like catching arrows out of the fucking sky.
Sign me up.
Dude, we're all fucking dead.
Everyone.
We're fucking
Maybe
dead.
you could have like an E button where your next punch stuns someone for half a second.
I mean, stunning
it's
strike
not
is
like-
like a
Now we're
staple of
talking.
monk. Yeah.
So you just have a stun, but like you don't do crazy damage. You just, if a barbarian is queuing up his felling axe, you can stun that shit. Just
Or
completely
kick.
negate it.
A kickback or something
kick.
like that.
Yeah,
Knockback
some
kick.
type of CC, and then you got to really be in there, like melee with punching and shit. Surely y'all have different animations than that generic
Oh,
really
yeah.
wide punch over and over again.
That's the future of all melee combat. Unarmed melee combat in the game is the current animation. That's as good as it gets, boys. That's peak
You'll
physical.
have to have like purchasable fists because they can't bake it in coding, so you have to buy fists that equip into primary and secondary. Yeah, no, that definitely. I reckon they'd just do a custom animation for the class.
Yeah.
So
Sure,
that would be
yeah.
their remedy. So if you pick monk,
Yeah.
you would be more like in the Mike Tyson pose, where you're doing like fucking, quick
Well,
pops.
if you recall, when SDF was on One Peg stream, like a week ago, they were saying the next class is Sorcerer, and with Sorcerer, you don't have to actually have a weapon in your hands to cast. You can just be barehanded. You can cast a fireball out of your left hand and like something else out of the right, or even like put two spells together and create like a frost fire kind of a thing.
yes.
Is the kind of shit they were cooking with. And they said the reason why they want to work on Sorcerer is because that means that they have to then focus on what that unarmed feel and gameplay is like, which obviously leads into a monk class, which the fantasy of monk, if you're not using a short sword or a quarterstaff or something, you're just fucking punching shit to death, right? As you should.
Walk me through Sork here. I understand the lore. They're like, inherently have the energy. They can cast barehanded. But like, do they have limited spell slots? Is it just a spell that they have on their E and their Q? Do they only have 2 spells?
It's a great
Do
question.
they have how the fuck? What the fuck are we doing? What is it?
It's a fucking awesome question.
This motherfucker's playing Sorcerer already.
God, it's like such a double-edged sword actually working at the company now. It's like, man. But yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. I can't wait.
So is it?
It's going
it's
to...
spell wheel?
G14 classified, that's what he's saying.
Soon
It's fucking
TM going to be
ridiculous.
cool. Soon TM going to be cool. That's all I got. Okay, out of the classes coming, Sorcerer, Paladin, let's assume Artificer's coming because it's an
What the
official
fuck is
class.
Artificer?
It's a D&D class where you're essentially like a magical tinkerer, where like you create like golems and you can create essentially like a robot, or like you can manipulate objects or shit like that. Or you can like arcane cannons and stuff like that.
Throw it out. Put it in the trash. We don't need a summoner.
I know it's a little crazy, but I mean it's an official class. But out of those 4 classes and monk as well, what do you think sounds the most fun? Does Artificer even sound fun to people?
I think no. It sounds miserable for everyone playing it and against it. I think monk would be cool to play, probably miserable to play against because no one likes getting CC'd. And I think Sork, I mean, if you tell us, it could be amazing, especially with the mixing spells. Like you can only choose 3 elements, and like each of the elements combine into some shit. We got to choose
Cooking.
between those 3. That could be sick.
Cooking with soda, baking soda. Keep going.
But it's like if you don't have spell wheels, that means you only have your Q and E spell, and maybe you can hit Q and E, and that's how you combine. So you got 3 spells, right? But you only take 2. That's not enough spells, because what do you do in between those cooldowns? Are you a melee class? I guess the wands come out into play, and you just a wand bitch at that point.
Well, that's actually a good question. Like, are
we gonna have like 8 wands in the inventory, swapping like fucking fletching axes or whatever they're called?
I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I haven't seen the wand yet, even in like testing or internally, so I don't actually know. I don't know how the wand works. I wish I did, but I don't know. You got to realize.
They told us it'll have charges and stuff.
It's
that's
pissing me
fair
off
enough.
when you're like, these things.
I
and
know
you're like,
some
I don't know anything
things
about that, but like,
I know some
like,
things because
do they not tell you, or do you not ask?
I ask and they tell me what
They don't tell you.
they tell me some things, but this is what they typically say, which is a let me Google that for you thing, where they're like, hey, there's a bunch of materials internally that you can go look at. I can dig through that if I want to highlight a bunch of text and right click translate to find what I'm looking for, because everything is in Korean. So
fuck.
I ask questions when I'm interested in something, and then hope I get a good answer. But if I want to actually dig, I gotta dig. So it's like I said, I'm the marketing guy. I don't read Hangul. Like it's not that easy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
Yeah, it's not that
Well,
easy.
shit.
Yeah, I didn't learn Korean yet. I'm sorry, guys.
You working on it?
안녕하세요, 감사합니다.
Oh shit! I don't know what you said, 'cause I don't know any Korean,
Hello,
but I
hello
assumed
and
that was
thank you.
good.
When I was in the Air Force, I was actually stationed in Korea for a year, and my base was only 30 minutes away from where Iron Mace's office is. So I actually know where to go. If I was like in Korea and Seoul right now, I know where to go, which is kind of cool.
That's rad.
Korea, by the way,
Damn.
super fun. It's a very, very fun country. What base?
Damn.
I was at Osan Air Base, F-16 Squadron. Yep.
What does F-16 Squadron mean?
F-16s are a fighter jet. They're the single engine, like air to air.
Did you fly a jet?
No, I was a weapons specialist. I loaded the B-61 nuke on the F-15E, and then like conventional
You loaded
weapons.
a nuke?
I was a nuke guy for 2 years on the F-15E when I was stationed in England. And
Were you
then
scared?
What, you want to have good sleep doing that job, hey?
dude, you know how
I mean-
fucking weird that shit is? You have to. Your life is not yours. When you're a top secret nuclear SCI guy that is loading nukes, I had to ask permission to take Advil. It's like that. Like if I
Oh my
wanted, if I
God.
wanted to leave,
Wow.
if I wanted to
Do they
leave
collect
base,
your pee a lot?
oh, we got tested all the time. I would like
Oh
if
my
I
God.
if I wanted to go get my teeth cleaned at the dental office on base, I would have to go to a special office first, where they would review my medical records, put my records in a briefcase that they would zip tie to my wrist that I would then take to my doctor. I had a special badge that said PRP, Personnel Reliability Program, all this shit. If I wanted to date a girl, like I had to like tell them what her name was and stuff. Like if I wanted to leave an 8-mile radius away from the base, I had to tell them where I was going, who I was going with. If
How
I
long
would-
did you do this for?
I was Air Force 6 years. So I did
If
the
he broke up with the girl, a white van would rock up, put a bag over her head, and then take her to another country.
it was pretty
Yeah,
intense.
it's pretty intense.
So I was working for NATO in England for 2 years on the nuke program, and I hated nukes because I was like 21. I wanted to like live a life. So
Yeah.
I volunteered to go to Korea. That's how I got to Korea. I was like, get me out of nukes, send me to Korea, because it's a short tour. Because essentially a short tour in Korea for 1 year means you can't really take your family because North Korea could attack at any time. You're always doing like chemical warfare exercises, stuff like that. So it's a good way. A lot of people don't want to go there because of that shit. So if you want to
Yeah.
get out of something in the military, in the Air Force really, you can volunteer to go to Korea. And I did. And I fucking fell in love with that place. It was super fun. And that's when I discovered StarCraft and GSL, and JTV was brand new. This was 2007, 2008. And
Yeah.
that's when I started watching that shit, and I was like, I need to get the fuck out and work in that. But I still had several years left. I still had Germany for 2 years. I went to Iraq. I went to Afghanistan. I was in for 6 years. So I had
Do
to
you
wait.
still feel like you gotta like tell someone whenever like you leave the house, like, hey, just letting you know I'm going
Fuck
outside?
no.
Okay.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Damn.
I don't even know how we got on
that's
this
crazy.
tangent. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, I hated being in the military. I wanted to get out and get into games. That's how I started streaming and did Survivor game shit and worked at Twitch, because I hated being in the military.
Sorry, I know
Yeah.
you're wrapping this up soon, so
Yeah.
I just want to slip in my own question for SodaPoppin.
Sure, please.
Soda, I already asked you about like what you think about the game long term, right?
Yeah.
You yourself as a streamer, right? Especially being high up on the food chain, we have a large audience and they have their needs. They expect you to do variety, and then there's always that sort of ecosystem on Twitch and YouTube where a lot of big content creators, they still have to sort of keep up with some trends. You can't always 100% go, you know what, I'm just going to play Lawn Bowl Simulator for the rest of my days. You know what I mean? If that, you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. Like,
Very few people can get away with doing it, and they only do it
Yeah.
because they're okay with killing their channel.
yes. So what I'm getting at here is right now, as just a part of the community of the game, I'm witnessing Summit, the game grow on Summit 1G, whereas before
Sure.
he really didn't like it. And now I can see he's like going straight to the vein. He's like, yeah, now I was going to play something else. I'm going to
Yeah.
just play some Darker Darker, right? But there'll be ebbs and flows with the game. Like Tarkov had it where it was like 1 minute it's up, everyone's hyped about it, and next minute it's back to that. And then they do a big game update, and then everyone's jumping back on, and it's like ebbs and flows. This
Yeah.
game's going to naturally have ebbs and flows, but do you see yourself coming back like with those ebbs and flows, like every major update? Like you take breaks, but will you like keep hitting
yes.
it up?
Yeah,
How do you
absolutely.
think about how do you think about the actual scene doing that? Do you think it's going to keep growing with, say, like events like Twitch drops and all that kind of stuff? Like, do you see there being interest from the major streamers? That's what the question is, basically.
I mean, streamers chase the view count, majority of the bigger ones.
Yeah.
I myself, like Druid came out. I'm like, that looks really fun. I want to try that. That looks awesome. Arena's gonna come out. Like right now, I'm kind of like, I'm not saying I'm checked out of Dark and Darker Brain. I'm definitely not as deep into it. I'm sort of waiting for another big update, Warlock nerfs, etc. But I see myself coming back pretty much every patch, even in between. Sometimes like, hey, you know what? Fuck it, let's go Q1. If that's what your question was. Sorry, it was
yeah. It's a bit of a hybrid question. It was like, I guess you answered the first part. The second half is how do you see the game appealing to the trends? If you know what I mean, like so when I saw Tarkov pop off, it was that weird hype thing that like no one can really always explain that very easily. Like, so it was 2020, end of 2019, December. They did their Twitch Drops campaign with a massive update, and out of nowhere, Dr. Lupo, Dr. Disrespect, Dr. Phil, Dr. This, all the doctors started streaming the game, right? And it created this like almost like this Katamari ball of like every content creator had to jump on it, and then you saw people like Pestily take off and all that kind of shit, right?
Do I think that's going to happen to Dark and Darker?
With this game? And how do you see that happening? Like, what would the devs need to do? What would Soma need to do on a marketing level to create that stimulation of like a feedback loop with the game? Like every major update, there's that hype where people are like, we got to get back on that.
I think, could it happen? I mean, I'm not a marketing guy, and like whenever a game does blow up, you look back, it's not like they did some specific thing. Like the hype kind of just happened. Yeah. I think Dark and Darker could totally get it. I think it does need more than the current game mode because, like I said, people are like, oh, what's this Dark and Darker game? I'll go to Twitch and I'll check it out. And they find what they see instantaneously boring as fuck because they look for 5 minutes and it's just opening a chest. They don't understand that they had to go through hell, literally hell, and kill a boss and do like 4 crazy ass battles before that to get to this chest. So they don't get to see the combat. They don't get to see like that cool thing. Could it take off? Arena might highlight it. It could also be like, Summit's playing the game right now. Maybe Moon's going to come back again when he's finally beaten Elden Ring at level 1. And then I'm going to play it at the same time. Now you got 3 big streamers. It's going to go up the section. XQC is like, oh, hey, maybe there's some maybe the juice is here, and now he's going to boot it up. And then you sort of get this. You get this fucking pulse beating, which gets it big on Twitch. And now it's like, oh, hey, this game's really relevant, which is like, you mentioned those 5 games that have, like me playing League. I could play League because I know the game's always going to matter. Getting good at League matters. I mean, to an extent, you compare it to other games, right? And getting Dark and Darker closer to feeling like that is important. And I guess you just get a wave of some streamers and it can snowball,
Right.
And then you get a bigger player base. Well, now your player base is bigger. Now the queues are fucking fast. Damn, arenas, everything's, now my rating matters. Now I can tell people I'm 2100 in Dark and Darker and like, that's cool. Rather than what does that mean? Right. So maybe you can get it to that point. Fuck if I know how the hell it happens, but I don't know.
No, I was curious on your take, because like you've seen different scenes evolve over time,
Yeah, I mean, shit's just random. I swear to God, like half the time it really is. Like Among Us, what the fuck? So, what is the last game that sort of entered that? I mean, Dark and
Lethal
Darker
Company for a short term.
There's all kinds of weird, like Fall Guys. Like there's always like a random
Fall Guys. Yeah, it's fucking random. Like
random.
Tim the Tap Man wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna play this and it's gonna be like 120k viewers watching me get my first chicken dinner, whatever the fuck it was called. I think that's PUBG. So it's like you can't necessarily predict it. I do think there is a fantasy itch that is not being touched for a lot of people that play games. I think Dark and Darker has the potential to be that itch.
Yeah, amen.
Well said. Well said. I think we ended with that. That was great. That was great.
Yeah, like that. You put it on your website, like a little quote, like, "Wow, I'll try it today, free on Steam or some shit."
Yeah, you've just created an ad for the game. Thank you. Thanks, Soda. No, Soda, you said you were excited about Arena. Arena's obviously coming soon. We do roundtable discussions where we bring like 8 people in during like key moments. So the game, like, new wipes, shit like that. If you're interested, we would love to have you back after Arena comes out if you want to You know, give us
Absolutely,
your
yeah,
take.
sure.
Cool, awesome.
If they're on Tuesdays, are usually like I'm usually pretty good. Usually it's my day off, but it's like if it's I'll fucking do it. Any other day, it's not Saturdays, and I'm good to go.
Sweet, awesome. Hey man, you're a staple in the Twitch community. You've been around forever. Your stream is awesome. You are.
It's not that great.
You know, I'm trying to be nice.
It's I really don't put. It's not. Hey,
we're trying to be nice.
I have
to
a
you,
good
Soda.
time.
Okay.
I have fun on my stream, but no one else does. I have a good time.
Your stream is legitimately great. You've been around forever,
Thanks.
and a lot of streamers do not go the distance like you have. So that's saying something. You're doing something right. So keep going, man. You're awesome. Thank you very
Thanks.
much for coming on to the podcast, and thanks for a great O2K Expo as well. It was really good to see you there.
Honestly, I was so fucking no one else in OTK, like I told them like Dark and Darker's going like free to play, like that's a big deal, and they're like whatever. I'm like that's massive. That's crazy, because like the lobbies weren't filling. Like this could be the fix. And then you know we announced that it was going free to play on. Was it what did we announce at the OTK Expo?
Free. Yeah.
Free to play, but we didn't say on Steam, right?
No. It was just free
I remember.
because Steam was not ready yet, so we couldn't actually say.
Those bastards.
Yeah, no. It was
but
so
still.
Steam coming out the same day as Summer Games Fest. It was literally to the wire. So much stress. Like I wish that would have been sick to be able to say that at HK Expo. It just wasn't ready. Everything was
Summer
so
Games Fest
down to
is
the
way
wire.
bigger.
Like I have more grays in my head now because of that shit. Thanks. But anyway, like Jesus fucking Christ. But hey, we did it. We're back on Steam. The game has a free version. It's great. But
what is the free version like right now? I forget. Is it you play and what
no
do you
HR,
have 3 classes?
no HR. You
No
can't sell things on the marketplace. There's like
one character slot.
one character slot.
No
stuff
share
like that.
stack.
Shit.
You get. I think
Yeah.
honestly, if you're a free player, you get a lot. You get quite a bit. Some
They
people,
changed it to
some
2
people were
characters.
fucking mad. Yeah, okay, fuck off. Some people were
2
like,
characters.
"It's not free enough. Give me a second character." I'm like, how free does it have to be, little Timmy? Huh?
They also had to do some measures to stop people being able to easily just make free-to-play accounts and RMT, like real money
yeah.
trade or cheat. So
Yeah.
it wasn't just to do like, oh, gotcha, gotcha, bitch. You thought it was free to play. It's to give people a taste, but at the same time have measures to prevent, excessive cheating, excessive RMT abuse. So I understand why they did it the way they did.
Yeah, and the game's only $30 too. Like you get a lot for that free character slot, and
Yeah.
the game's only $30, and most people are playing it for at least 100 hours that really get into it. It seems worth it overall.
So
I'd say.
just a random question, and
Sure.
I'm just curious. If the game was full free to play for literally everyone, how would you see the game getting monetized if you had to do it that way?
Oh God, Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
because now you have to make. I mean, people underestimate how expensive games are, especially like live games that are updated.
God,
Well,
imagine it was something like rotating classes like League of Legends. Like this week, you only have access to Druid,
Fuck.
Cleric, Warlock, unless you want to pay $8 for the Paladin or the Fighter or whatever the fuck it is. Like I don't even know. Like how would you make Dark and Darker fully free?
I mean, you don't want the pay to win, but you also do need people to pay somewhere. You got to make money. The game
or
needs
Iron
to make
Mace will
money.
die. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Well,
like people could be
I don't
upset,
wanna-
but it's the truth.
I don't want to talk out of shop, but I was closely watching the Torch Drops thing with how much money was being made for the charity, right? And if I do my math right, I might be wrong. People in your chats can correct me if I'm wrong. But the charity Torch skin, right, made, I think, was it over 100 grand?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
In
It was
4
something like
hours.
that. That's one skin that made 100 grand.
Okay,
At $5 a
but
pop.
keep in mind, as a
Well,
business model, eventually, if you just had a business model of just fashion and skins, eventually it gets to a point where no one cares anymore because there's so much.
And it dies off, yeah.
Yep.
But that's the same for just an outright purchase too. You've got all those people bought the game already. Like Tarkov has that problem where their whole player base bought the game, so they went to the level of scamming their old player base that with the Edge of Darkness shit, right? That's not accusations. That fucking happened. But
You're
so,
absolutely
like-
right. It did happen.
So
Fucked up.
essentially, an outright purchase is the same thing, right? Where all those people already bought the game. Now you've got the server upkeep, they're constantly hosting servers. No one's buying anything. So the skins is the top up. But it's honestly what you said is just a case of keeping the game popular. Everything dies. Every game has its lifespan, a multiplayer game, right? So it's just a case of keeping the game relevant for the next 5 to 10. Terrence said the CEO, they have a 10-year plan. So they just got to keep the game relevant and keep skins and shit enticing.
Does the game
for people to
die
buy
after
them.
10 years? Is gonna do
Well,
something
look at
else?
League of Legends or whatever. You know what I mean?
10 years
I know what
is
you're
a long
saying. Yeah.
time.
Well, yeah, but League of Legends, all those games have been around for 10 years. Like, it's insane how like all the big popular games right now are still the same games from 10 years ago. If you
Oh,
really
no,
think about it.
I wasn't overestimating. I was saying, like, do they have a 10-year plan? At 10 years now, what? Like, are they done? Do they just try to
Unplug it.
Oh,
Servers
yeah, so
are
I know what you
done.
mean. Yeah, who knows?
Dark and Darker 2, the open world version.
I said this to Soma on one of the previous podcasts. They, with the big wipe and the Steam free to play, they left a lot of money at the table because as a streamer, I still keep getting asked by random viewers, hey Spud, where did you get that torch skin? Because I've got there's like a skull skin that I bought off the shop for like $5. So many people don't know it's there. So the shop is just on the top right. I'm not saying they need to make it full scammy and have it like, oh, 10% off this. You know, you open up the game, you just like a holy light just blasts you out your chair with all these ads and shit, right? It's
discount.
Yeah, literally. They don't have to go that egregious.
Sale.
Yeah, they could just have a little carousel on the top right of the menu showing you, okay, 10% off this week, you know, the golden dragon dildo skin, whatever, for the wizard wand, whatever the hell it is.
Buy now.
But yeah.
I've already actually taken that feedback,
Spud.
Spud.
Making a lot more money.
I've taken that feedback internally because you're right. It's a lot of missed revenue.
The charity torch skin proved it. They made 150 grand on that one freaking skin.
Almost
out
200
of what,
now.
50,000 people that bought it, whatever. Because everyone's like, FOMO, I want that rainbow skin. Done. The rainbow torch.
I mean, there's a reason why, like, at least the streaming world, they all do limited edition. You can only buy it now. Fucking sales,
right?
You know, because it works. It does. And then you take it away, and then you bring it back again in a year. Like, hey, remember when you missed out? Here it is again, and it's gonna be gone again. Yeah. You know,
it's like the McRib. It always comes back. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. It works, and people are hey, fuck it, get the money. I say spam it. Bring battle passes too. Do the whole shebang. I don't care about cosmetics one bit. It does not bother me as long as the cosmetics don't get so crazy where
like Path of Exile style.
Yeah, like you got angel wings,
and you're a level
you've got
1.
like this. Every piece of gear that you equip is like reskinned already. That's not ideal. Torch, that's fine. I'm not sure what other kind of cosmetics you can get that matter that don't ruin the game. Campfire is good.
Emotes in lobby emotes, menu emotes, stuff like that.
I don't think people care that much about emotes. I don't think like
depends on the emote. Like some emotes do really well, like rock paper scissors, coin flip, and horn. People buy.
I'd like to see the sales. Like, how do they buy those? A lot of them or no?
Something I can't go into specifics, but I will say that some things are clearly more popular than others. Specific things I can't say, but yes, some things are really popular. Some things are not at all.
I like to believe every time I blow the horn, I make you guys like $4. You know what I mean? Someone's gotta be like, I need that shit.
Where did you get that from, bro? Where did you get that from? Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, I'm not sure what other things y'all could do cosmetically. I don't know, but I'm sure there's a lot of things.
As long as they don't go full pink bunny ears, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Damn it! All right, let me cross that idea off the list. No. All right. Messaging SDF now. Hey, this episode was fucking awesome. Seriously, it was really good. Soda, you had a lot of good points. You posed really good questions.
I feel like I just regurgitated Reddit, but I had a lot of fun. Felt
you
good
just fucking broke the illusion.
In a very official way.
You're a trickery cleric, and you broke the illusion. God damn it.
Damn.
Spud, Jay, always a pleasure, boys. I'll see you guys obviously next week for episode 68.
Yes, sir.
Spud.
What are y'all gonna do for 69?
69 is going to be our old co-host Donnie. He's going to come in and host the show as his goodbye.
That's crazy.
He's going to host the show, and he's kind of a loose cannon wild boy.
Oh
so,
shit! Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be called the Scufftest Hour, episode 69, and he's gonna say goodbye to us as host. Should be Should be a good episode. But next week we have Not Like This, who's a very good YouTuber that has a lot of really cool stuff to say about Dark and Darker. Really great, informative videos. So he'll be on next week. Soda will 100% get you back on for a roundtable discussion.
Sure.
We'll talk Arena when that comes out. But thanks again, man, for coming on. This was super fun.
I had a blast.
Yeah,
Very
thanks,
chill. Spud,
Awesome.
nice meeting you. Jay, I
brother.
appreciate you getting me those keys. That was great. I lost it all, but hey, that was cool seeing the podcast and everything. And Soma, this was great. I had a blast. I can't wait to be on again.
Hell yeah, brother.
If you guys ever want to queue in the Rift or whatever the fuck it's called, just let me know. I'll queue up. I'll lose my gold with you guys because I suck ass.
I'll play normals with you, so you don't have to sweat it out in HR. And
I
get
sweat hard,
dunked
dude.
on.
Normals
Do you
are
sweat?
harder than high roller.
No.
Sometimes I
They're more
guess.
PvP hungry. They're more PvP hungry in normals.
The fact that it's debatable is inherently a problem.
That'll be a talking
it.
point for another episode, I guess.
Sorry.
Mr. Griffith, where can people find you online?
I'm Jay Griffey on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube.
Fuck yeah. Mr. Spud?
The Spud Hunter, YouTube, Twitch, OnlyFans, all of them. The Spud Hunter. Thank you for the plug.
Nice.
If you just Google Spud Hunter leaked OnlyFans, you can just get everything for free, by the way.
Oh,
Nice.
really?
Sorry, Spud. It's all out there. Soda, where can people find you online?
SodaPoppin on Twitch. I don't use anything else. Don't look at my Twitter. I don't use it anymore. And that
Healthy.
I think.
Smart.
Yeah, I don't. I only retweet shit that ads make me. And then, are there any other socials out there?
You have a Facebook
Twitter,
page?
you don't hit up YouTube,
Oh, YouTube.
anymore?
You got a TikTok?
do
I've
YouTube.
never really done YouTube. I've had an assistant or my roommate. She handled it, but I don't think I've ever made a YouTube video or looked into it. I don't even know how to do it.
Here's the deal. You don't really need to. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
So
I don't.
Yeah.
I did one video where actually when I was like 18, I shit myself. And I fucking posted that. It was crazy.
So we gotta pull that up.
That was 10 years don't on stream. There's probably some slurs. It's not good.
Oh my god.
Different time. But yeah,
That's
no,
hilarious.
that was a long time ago. So it's just SodaPoppin Twitch. Sorry, I dragged that out.
No, that's great.
Brad?
No, that's easy. SodaPoppin on Twitch. Easy as pie. Chat, you guys were better than I thought you'd be. Good job. Good job, chat.
GGs.
Pat on the head.
What did you think they were gonna do?
Dude, our chats get a little crazy during Q&A sometimes.
You don't talk. It's like talking about balance with classes is like talking about American politics with
So
this
what-
game.
okay,
it's
so-
like you know what I mean. You're a part of that group or not. You're a part of the problem or the solution. You know.
No, I get it, but let's just say right now, clerics and warlocks are really bad, and chat
Yeah.
didn't disagree, and they weren't awful, which means they are bad, and you
Yeah,
should
yeah,
nerf
they're
them.
pretty strong. Yeah.
That's just what that means.
Fair
fix it.
enough. I'm on it. Sir, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thanks
Yes,
so
Staff
much.
Sergeant.
Appreciate it.
I'm on it. Great episode. You guys have a great night. Chat, we'll see you next week for episode 68 with Not Like This. Thank you for watching The Darkest Hour. Have a good night.
Awesome.
GGs,
Thanks for having me, guys.
everyone.
GGs. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Jeez.
Goodbye.